Broadcasting stations.
It's time for Sportstime on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. The first hour of Sportstime is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome into Sports Time on a Wednesday. Bryant Dacus and Jay Morgan Harder with you for the next 3 hours. No Brett Norsworthy. He's out for the week. He'll be back next week as we get ready for week 1, week 0 this week in college football. So it should be a lot of fun. But Jay Morgan, it's a Wednesday, so that means we have day baseball and a lot of it. I know the Cardinals started the day. I believe they're just now coming back from a weather delay. Might still be in that delay. But really, outside of this 3 o'clock slate, only a couple of games going off at about 5 o'clock or later. So if you're a Major League Baseball fan, you better like watching day baseball because you're not going to get much action tonight.
What if you don't?
Then I guess you're out of luck.
Well, I guess those are the 2 options then.
I mean, I don't know what the other options are. We have it on MLB Network. Cubs and Tigers are in action. Cubs up 5-4 over the Tigers. Cardinals, whenever they do come back, they're up 5-2 in Pittsburgh after another embarrassing loss last night to the Pirates. It seems like that's how the rest of this season's going to go. That's how the weekend went. Was you lost it went 2 not so fun losses, and then you won the 3rd game against the Mets. Now against the Pirates, 2 not so fun losses, and it looks like if everything holds, you'll win this 3rd game before going into the weekend. So I don't really like that, but hey, that's, I guess, when you're already looking ahead to 2024, that's what you get.
It certainly is. I mean, I guess that's just kind of the way it goes in that case. Quite frankly, I've kind of been tuned out on sports all day today.
What's been taking
been
up your
watching
time?
TV. Today's the premiere of Ahsoka Tano's new show, so it's live action Ahsoka because she was the main character in Star Wars: The Clone Wars TV series that was on Cartoon Network for 4 or 5 years or so, and then they did another 2 seasons on Disney Plus, or one on Netflix and one on Disney. So,
and that's
great. The Cardinals are winning. Quite frankly, I've been so tuned out of sports today. If you're coming to hear, well, Bryant can inform you. Bryant always does a great job informing you. He's going to tell you about all the guests that can inform you.
Oh yeah.
But if you are usually irritated and or annoyed by the sound of my voice on the radio because I don't disseminate any accurate information, you ain't getting any of it today, I promise.
Bad day to tune in, I guess.
No, not for you. And for our fine guests. But
stay for me, put up with you.
Well, unless you like Star Wars.
Well, I don't.
Or Big Brother has a new episode tonight, or AEW has a new TV episode tonight. The 2nd season of the show The Invasion, which has been on a 2-year hiatus from Apple TV, premiered season 2 today, so that's exciting.
It's 4.
But I don't know anything about the Cardinals or the Cubs.
All right, so outside of those 4, some Star Wars thing, Big Brother,
Ahsoka Tano's new show,
sci-fi,
and it also
show,
has a lot of the Star Wars
AEW.
Resistance cast as well. So, like, I won't spoil anything, but if you saw the trailer, you saw certain characters from Star Wars Resistance that are going to make Star Wars Rebels that are going to make their appearance in the show as well. So it was really good. First 2 episodes were really good. I think it's the best jobs. Well, first season of Mandalorian was really good, but I think this is probably, for my money, these first 2 episodes, the best job I think Disney has done with Star Wars.
So it's on Disney Plus?
Yes, they own Star Wars, Bryant.
No, I knew that, but I didn't know if it was like on actual television or if this was a streaming show.
Just on streaming.
Interesting. Well, I'm happy for you for that.
Thanks.
I can't really add anything to it. I've only seen one.
I couldn't add anything.
Star Wars movie.
I'm so glad you said that because I couldn't add anything to what you presented to me, and so I took the wheel and turned it and just talked about something totally different.
I gotcha. Well,
So you could do the same thing back to me as well. I tell you what else also. Since we're not talking about sports at all, I'll get it kind of on sports, but also not on sports at all. So if you like sports, probably turn the channel today. The first thing I was watching today was Dr. Disrespect and Tim the Tap Man, who are 2 streamers, 2 of the most famous streamers in the world. These are video game players, folks. they are on the internet today, and they were paid money by EA Sports. They're playing Madden this week. And so Dr. Disrespect playing against Tim the Tatman. They're in a series playing Madden all day today.
Yeah.
And they called it the Stupid Bowl. And there's been some really entertaining clips that they put out there today. I guess if you watch us on Twitch,
Sure.
you can't watch either of them on Twitch. So if you watch us on YouTube, Dr. Disrespect and Tim the Tatman are both on YouTube. YouTube's paid them a considerable sum of money. Well, I guess Twitch banned Dr. Disrespect for reasons that we still don't know about, and he's suing them over it. And I believe Amazon owns Twitch, so he's suing Amazon, I suppose. Yeah. And so Tim the Tatman and Dr. Disrespect are both play games on YouTube, have a great following on YouTube. I saw 55,000 concurrent people watching each of their streams, so that's 110 total, unless some people are watching both at the same time, at least. So 110,000 people were watching them play Madden today. I would imagine that's a lot more than are watching this Cubs game that people might be like, why are you talking about that? Why aren't you talking about the Cubs and Tigers? Well, I'll tell you why. 110,000 people were watching them play.
Not just 110 people, 110,000.
110 people might be watching the Cubs and Tigers play today. So it was really cool. I tell you what, and this is really the first foray we've seen streaming get into sports games. And this is really the only avenue I see, like, at least me personally, see for that, because I could see it being great advertising. If these are popular people, like we just said, 110,000 people were watching, so it clearly is great advertisement for the game Madden. It reminds me I need to go buy the Madden today, you know what I mean? So it's good advertising for the game, but it's not like they're competing the way normal streamers do. They usually play competitive games that have an equal playing field. Madden is not that, obviously. Different players have different ratings and so on and so forth. So it really is just advertising for the game, which is why EA paid so much money for them to play it, but it was incredibly entertaining. I can't recommend it enough.
So this was during the day today?
Oh, they're still playing right now. Oh, yeah. See, streaming doesn't, these hours, each streamer makes a schedule, but they don't play, like, prime time for streaming is not prime time for television.
No, I get that, but I would just assume, and maybe I'm completely off base here, and it's my not knowing anything about streaming or video game playing in public with people watching.
So just streaming then.
Yeah. You'd think the audience would be younger, and those people would probably be in school during the day, so that seems like a lot of people to be watching during that time. Did I sound like an old man there? Was that a bad concept?
Certainly so.
Okay.
Only kids care about watching that. That's right.
I didn't mean it like
not
that.
Not entertaining for anybody else.
No,
they certainly don't. They certainly don't say the F word constantly. Yeah.
No.
Great for kids.
I didn't mean like that.
I believe each of their streams actually make you indicate that you're over 18 when you watch them.
Really? I just know, like, Connor, my brother, he's a sophomore in college right now, and he always watches streamers.
And you don't like watching streamers.
And I don't like watching
streamers. And so the distinction that you make is that must be something kids like.
Different generation. I mean,
for sure. Well, Tim is over 30 years old. Doc is over 40. So Tim's pushing 35 probably. Doc is 40. So I think your age gauge is off a little bit.
Yeah, I mean my knowledge of streaming as a whole is way off. I don't understand.
Kids like games, and that's who's watching them.
I play video games. I like games.
It has nothing to do with even liking games. It's just an entertainment. It's honestly the same crap you and I are doing right now.
But honestly, I say that, like, I watch people on YouTube that do, like, franchises and stuff, so I guess that's similar, but not really the same thing.
Sports content generally does a lot better as recorded video.
Yeah.
Like a produced video that you put together in Premiere or something like that after doing it. Sports don't generally do very good live streaming. Right. I haven't been able to figure out why. My guess is you have to have a certain standing of celebrity before anyone will watch you play a sports game. So in general, that stuff is not very good for, like, getting viewership. Maybe because if someone sees you playing a sports game, you don't really offer anything to the table other than your voice and personality that distinguishes what you're doing from what they would do if they just turned on the game and started to play. You know what I mean? Like, certainly some people are better at these games than others, but there's not as large of a skill gap as there is in, like, shooting games. So unless you're like Big Cat, who played his NCAA football dynasty during the pandemic, who's on Barstool Sports, pardon my take, popular show.
Sure.
Unless you're Tim the Tatman, Dr. Disrespect, And there's others that have ventured into sports games. Unless you already had that standing of celebrity, I just don't think anyone's going to click on you, watch you play sports games.
Interesting.
It's hard to make that bridge there. But these guys are doing a good job of it, and it was really popular to watch today.
Good for them.
Yeah.
God bless
So
them.
that's sports, right?
I guess so.
Sports talk.
Some sort of it.
Tony Pollard scored for Tim on a nasty move, too.
Was he the Cowboys?
He's a big Cowboys fan, Tim is.
good
So
to
he was
know.
the Cowboys, and Dr. Disrespect lives in California. He's a big Niners fan. So he played with the Niners.
Boys versus Niners.
Boys versus Niners. And Dr. Disrespect actually played college basketball, too. So there's another
Really?
sports
Wow.
connection there. He's an athlete. Guy Beam is the fellow's name, but he goes by Dr. Disrespect. He wears a wig, and he has a jet black mustache that he does just for men on. Really funny guy. Wears these like thick sunglasses all the time, and he just puts on a character, Dr. Disrespect.
Interesting.
Greatest of all time, the two-time back-to-back 1993-1994 blockbuster video game champion of the world. The two-time back-to-back. Dr. Disrespect.
Good for them.
No, that's just Doc.
Good
Tim,
for him.
Tim isn't a two-time anything
I got you.
other than eating champion of the world. Big fat guy.
That's awful. Good for him, I guess.
Timmy Tenders.
It's awful.
Tim the Fat Man.
It's terrible. I watched Hard Knocks today. That was my viewing.
Still haven't seen any of this.
Today. Yeah, you're not like you to not watch all the Hard Knocks.
Well, I haven't heard great things about it, quite frankly.
I actually like it. It gets me. Nothing gets me more excited for the National Football League than Hard Knocks. I mean, it gets me juiced up, fired up, ready to roll. We got some of our young guys in this episode. Some of the guys that may, that are like on the verge of making or being cut from the team. So that was a
So
fun.
we're getting into guys that are going to get cut.
Yeah, but I don't know if it was only like 2 or 3 guys, and I don't know if any of them will actually be cut. But it was it was a fun episode last night. We got Breece Hall back. We got Dalvin Cook introduction. Mike Evans called somebody fat, and they didn't like that. That was a big.
Tim the Tap Man.
No, it wasn't the Tap Man. It was Quinnen Williams. He called Quinnen Williams.
Oh, I
fat.
actually did see that clip on the internet.
And Quinnen Williams, he was self-conscious about it. He said he'd been losing weight, and he was not happy that Mike Evans called him fat.
Yeah, but he didn't get. I mean, I guess he did get angry.
He was just in his feelings a little bit.
Yeah, he was in his feelings a little bit. But it seemed like, correct me if I'm wrong, it seemed like he was joking a little bit.
Yeah,
Right?
no, I mean, he went like, man, you're fat.
Yeah, he was joking.
He was just kind of joking a little bit. But no, it was we got our first Robert Saleh stair run before a game. That was
Good.
in there. Also, we have 7 kids. Did you know that? 7 children.
I was not aware of that.
That's we found that out in this episode last night. So I was shocked. I had no idea he had 7 kids. That's a lot of kids.
Good football coach, though.
Good football coach, a lot of kids. But it's still the Aaron Rodgers show. I mean, Aaron Rodgers is going to be the main character of the entire show. But I feel like a lot of people forgot about Hard Knocks last night because of Swamp Kings. Seemed like Swamp Kings was everybody's watching.
I didn't watch that either.
I haven't watched it. I don't think I'm going to watch it, honestly.
I might watch it. I don't know.
From everything I've seen, it's not very good. It's just a fluff
I don't
piece.
see. I don't have the same interpretation of it being not very good. It's not very informative. Is what I've gotten from it but in terms of quality,
Yeah.
I've actually heard it. If you like the postseason documentaries they do for different sports, like Sports Illustrated used to release them, MLB releases
all the
their
World
own for each
Series
World
ones.
Series
they do
team.
for NFL, Super Bowl winners.
I think Sports Illustrated that's what they used to. Sports Illustrated used to do was the NFL. So they had a partnership with the
Yeah.
NFL where they would release that. I don't think the NFL. Maybe NFL Films does one themselves. I really don't know. But it seems like Swamp Kings is that. It is
Interesting.
10 years, no more than that, 15 years after the national championship. Here is your national championship documentary. And I think it goes in depth a little bit, talking about certain things they did, I guess.
Yeah.
Maybe not. Maybe that stuff was already known by people but before this documentary took place. But and calling it a documentary is probably not it, but it seems like just kind of a puff piece to get you ready for the football season.
Well, I think
but it doesn't
that's-
seem bad necessarily.
Right. I think what you just said of calling it a documentary is what the problem is,
Yeah,
because
it
I
ain't a
think
documentary.
everyone.
But neither is any of this crap that's been coming out. Like the Michael Jordan thing, I quite frankly think is not a documentary. all of these things don't need to be 4, 6, 8 episodes. Like, that's just dumb. Make it one. I watched a Nolan Ryan documentary that was the best documentary I've seen in like 3 years. Okay, it's called Facing Nolan. It's excellent. Really one of the best movies I've seen in the last 3 years. It is one movie to span the career of Nolan freaking Ryan.
And it's like an hour. It's like an hour 45. It's not even like super. Like it's not like a 2-hour documentary.
Nolan Ryan. Yeah. He played 20 some odd years in Major League Baseball.
Yeah.
More innings and strikeouts and wins than anyone.
Yeah.
And they did it in one movie. It was like an hour and a half.
It was great.
They told this Florida thing. How many seasons did it span? 3 seasons, right?
3, I think. Yeah. 2
told
or 3.
4 episodes. 4 episodes. So you got an extra episode in there. You say 3 episodes, I get where your head's at.
Sure.
Should be a movie. 4 episodes, I don't understand. Michael Jordan told the story of a season.
What was it, like 8?
1 season. Just 1 year. 365 days. And less than that. How many months is a basketball season? 5?
Yeah.
6?
5 or 6.
I'll say 6.
Okay.
6 months. Took you 8 episodes? what the hell's your problem, man? Like, maybe someone's got to be in the editing room.
Saying that a little too much.
And the editor cannot be the same jokers that are making the movie because they clearly are taking too much Adderall or doing too much cocaine to where they have no concept of time or editing or what is good versus bad content. Hell, throw it all in. And so someone's got to be in the editing room cutting this stuff down because we cannot. I know that these servers that like Netflix and Hulu and Disney and all these places have, Amazon, I mean, they're huge, right? They can fit seemingly endless amount of data and content onto these servers. But sometime you're going to run out. Just cut it down a little bit. No need. No need to make it 4 episodes. No one wants to watch that crap anyway. All we're hearing about is what, Bryant? How bad this thing is?
How bad it is.
Maybe just make it 1 episode, and people might sing a different tune.
You might be right. I mean, maybe breaking
Maybe
it down
you'll make
4
people
episodes.
sit through 5 freaking hours of content that's terrible.
And probably the thought is okay, I watched the first one, this is all good, great stuff. The second episode is when we'll start getting to like the bad of the Florida football
Tell you what,
program.
at least people are saying this is bad because I wanted to like kill myself when I'm hearing everyone talk about how good the Michael Jordan documentary was. It was one of the worst pieces of garbage I've ever seen.
But you also got, I mean, that was smack dab in the middle of COVID. We had no live sports. I mean, people were just itching for something. That's what I think part of that was.
Wasn't that a weird time when that was
time.
starting where everyone was like, what am I going to do? There's no content. There's like more content than you know what to do with. I brought up like 6 things at the beginning, 6 TV shows at the beginning of the show.
That just came out today.
People might have only heard of like 1 or 2 of them.
Maybe.
So the idea that there isn't anything to watch or do, no, there's like more than you'll ever get to.
No, I agree with that. But I do remember it was like...
Case in point, they're making all these documentaries with 6 too many episodes.
And these are the same people that made that documentary, aren't they?
Is it right? Is that right?
Well, I know this one was like, it was Netflix and ESPN like partnered to make this documentary. So I think all of these people are in some sort connected with the people who made the Michael Jordan documentary.
Is that right?
I think so. I'm not positive.
No, Michael Jordan documentary was not made in conjunction with ESPN, though.
But I thought Netflix. And they showed it on ESPN.
Right.
So Netflix made it, and they partnered with ESPN to show it.
Okay, maybe so, because that was a last-minute addition for ESPN. When the pandemic hit, they were like, we have to show something.
Yeah, and so they put those on.
And
it was like 7 p.m. every week. It was like can't miss television.
This is the best thing I've ever seen.
Everyone was getting around and watching.
This is so good.
Yeah.
Did you see that Michael Jordan documentary? It was so good.
Is that how they sound?
Yeah, it is. It's
Hitting
truly.
memes and stuff. It was a different time.
See that Michael Jordan documentary?
Well.
Have you seen The Nook of the North? That's a good documentary.
Never heard of it. Kate, your case in point, I guess.
That is
Let me set up today's show before Jay Morgan blows a gasket. 3:30, we're going to get into some Tiger news. Both the basketball team and football team, some news out today on both fronts. We'll get to that in the next segment. 3:45, we'll get to some news from the NFL as we get ready for preseason week 3, the third and final week of preseason. 4 o'clock, John Gowen from Timber Trust will join us like he does every week. We'll do some golf talk. We'll make our weekly picks. Last tournament this year, and good for John. I mean, he is solely in the lead, and I don't think there's any catching up to him at this point. So we'll have to crown John victor at 4 o'clock. 4:30, we'll talk some baseball. 4:45, big number of the day. 5 o'clock, Vince Ferrara from 99.1, the sports animal in Knoxville, will join us. We'll talk some Vols with him as we're getting close to only a week away from the first game of the season for Tennessee. So we'll get into all of that at 5 o'clock with Vince. 5:30, we'll get to what's trending at 5:45. We'll wrap up today's show like we always do with Taco Bell Crunch Time.
You know, they played real basketball back when the Michael Jordan documentary came out.
What do you mean?
They were playing like real basketball back then. Like the game actually looked like it's supposed to, unlike whatever the crap they threw out there today in the NBA.
You're talking about back in the 90s when the Bulls were on.
That's why it was also a good
dynastic
documentary, because the basketball was a higher quality than that which they play today, where it's so bad. I mean, they can just travel. Like, I don't remember the last time I saw a guy take a dribble, truly. I don't think I've seen a player dribble in an NBA game in 3 or 4 years.
James Harden, LeBron James.
When was the last time you see James Harden dribble? I dare you. I dare you to find me one dribble of find me one dribble James Harden took last year. Bet you can't do it. Dare you to do it. Dare you to find it. Anyway, Brian, I'm sorry I interrupted you.
No, you're fine. That's a good question. Good question. But we're sitting in the Family Leisure Studios where family and fun come together. Summer clearance sale going on right now at Family Leisure, and they need your help to clear out inventory. All DIY pools, $1,000 off. Special 24-foot round pool, less than $2,000. Select play gyms, only $18.99. Patio furniture up to 30% off. And spas, they're in stock and up to $1,200 off. And don't forget about the 24-month same-as cash financing, now available only at Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40.
This hour of our show brought to you every day by Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and online at lexusofmemphis.com. The one and only Lexus dealership in town. Call them at 901-334-9673. Great offers on all 2023 models and always special leasing options. Drive in luxury and confidence knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Stop by Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and put yourself in the driver's seat of the all-new 2023 flagship LS500. You'll be looking and you'll be driving in style. And when you purchase a Lexus, you get top-of-the-line engineering and design, and they make for the luxury driving experience. Online at lexusofmemphis.com. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Top story of the day.
Well, my top story of the day is realignment. It doesn't seem to cease even with football games this weekend. We'll have Pac-12 action this weekend. We'll have SEC action this weekend. We'll have Notre Dame playing. They're the one of the big independent schools that people say could be a big chip in realignment in the future. But the ACC, they're having a meeting this week because the conference is seriously continuing to consider adding Stanford, Cal, and SMU. That's according to sources over at The Athletic. So, you know, a week, 2 weeks ago, we thought that this was kind of done. Those rumors were out there that Stanford, Cal, and SMU could be on the move to the ACC. It seemed like that door had been shut. It seemed like the big boys in the ACC that seemingly turned the decisions. They didn't want those three schools in there, and it seemed like that closed the door on that, and we had kind of moved on to other avenues that these remaining Pac-4 teams could take. But now it seems like this is still an option for those two Pac-4 schools, Stanford and Cal, and then SMU is still in there. I've heard over the last couple of weeks that there's been some big hitters involved from all of these schools trying to make that push for them to get into the ACC. But let's not forget that when this happened 2-3 weeks ago, it was all under the notion that especially SMU would probably not make any money from media rights deals for the first however many years. That could happen for both Cal and Stanford, and for those three schools, I mean, how do you weigh that in getting into a conference like the ACC but not making any media rights money for the next probably 3 to 5 years?
Yeah, I guess you can't renegotiate your contract every time you add new teams in there, but kind of a sticky situation. I tell you what, a pet peeve of mine already. How long have we been doing this realignment stuff? Like a couple weeks now.
Forever.
Calling it the Pac-4 already is just so annoying. It just sounds so pretentious. Like, yes, I know how many teams are in the Pac conference. Yes, it's just 4. Yes.
Pac-4. I kind of like it.
I think it's dumb. I can't stand it. It's already a pet peeve of mine. It just sounds obnoxious. It sounds like, listen to me, I Pac-4. Not you saying you. Everyone's calling it the Pac-4.
I'll now say it as
because it's not a real name. It's not a real name. It's just the moniker talking heads are giving it, and it's like this is to say there are only 4 teams in the Pacific Conference, and I can tell you exactly which ones they are and how much money they have and what conferences they're looking at going into.
Pushing fake glasses because I am wearing glasses. I'm curious though. What do you think happens to this Pac-4?
I don't care.
I just wanted to say Pac-4 again.
I really don't. It doesn't matter to me. My top story of the day, since I don't care about that, I guess, Shohei Ohtani has already hit a home run at the start of the Cincinnati game.
What?
It started 5 minutes ago, and he had a 2-run homer in the top of the first inning. So that's my top story of the day. Is Shohei Ohtani's home run rant continues. He seems to be hitting them at will. He has I saw actually something the other day. There's not a lot of guys in the MLB that hit both sliders and cutters well. So I saw a graph from the website you told me about, Ballpark Pal, and they put together a group of guys that hit sliders well and cutters poorly, hit cutters well. I'm not sinker and cutter. I said slider and cutter every time. Not a lot of guys hit sinkers and cutters both well. 2 different types of fastballs go both ways. So they put together a chart. One group is guys that just hit sinkers well and not cutters. The next one was guys that hit cutters well and not sinkers. And the last one was a group of guys that hit both exceptionally well. And on that list was Shohei Ohtani, not surprisingly so. You know who was ahead of Shohei Ohtani, though? Lars Nootbaar.
Really?
Third best, whatever metric they use to determine this. He hits sliders and cutters both exceptionally well to the rate of the 3rd best in the major leagues, which is a really good, notch in his belt. I'm not sure any GMs or anything are going to be looking at the data from Ballpark Pal, but I thought it was noteworthy that here's a guy that does both really, really well.
Not top story of the day.
Well, my not top story of the day, I'm sure we might mention this again a little bit later when we talk about the NFL, but about an hour and a half ago, it was announced that Jets wide receiver Corey Davis is
That was my
away.
not top story of the day.
Was it really?
Former 6th overall pick?
Overall pick.
Is that right?
It was
I think
early first round.
I think it was 5 because
I'll tell you.
Because who went 6th was the Jamal Adams for the Jets.
That's right.
And I was so upset when the Titans took this guy Corey Davis from Western Michigan, right?
Western Michigan, oh yeah.
Western Michigan.
Oh, I loved him at Western Michigan.
Over Jamal Adams, who's everyone is rating as the best player in the draft that year. By a lot of metrics people were throwing out there. So I was so upset. And Corey Davis, not a very good Titans career, certainly not a very good Jets career. And it's already over.
Jamal Adams, Mike Williams, Christian McCaffrey, Patrick Mahomes, Marshawn Lattimore, Deshaun Watson, Hassan Reddick. These are just notable names drafted behind him.
No reason why they took Corey Davis. It just didn't make any sense when they did it. It doesn't make any sense now.
I loved it. I remember watching that pick because that was when PJ Fleck was at Western Michigan. Oh, Corey Davis was electric in college.
You and John Robinson, I suppose, are the 2 guys that were like, wow, this guy playing against low major competition. This is the kind of player I'm looking for.
You know, I have noticed Corey Davis has not made any appearances in Hard Knocks this season. So
he did play a few games for the Jets last year, though.
He did, but I mean, he's been
there for 2 years, if I'm not mistaken.
No, this would have been his 3rd
That's
year.
Right. That's what I think. I think that's right.
I think so.
But I'm not sure.
But when you talk about, when Aaron Rodgers decided he was going to join the Jets, I mean, he kind of had a list of a handful of receivers that he wanted on his team, and so you go through that. Well, that just kind of, those remaining wide receivers that have been there, they kind of get pushed down a couple notches. I guess unless your name's Garrett Wilson, then you're fine.
What if your name's Corey Davis?
Then you get pushed down and then you step away from the NFL.
And then you retire in disgrace.
At 28. Hey, Corey Davis, you look great in a Showboats uniform. If you still want to play football.
No, I don't need to see him in Tennessee ever again.
You just ruined it.
Stay out of my state, Corey, or we're going to have a problem.
Shouldn't have been here in the first place,
Yeah, we're going to have a problem.
Was that your not top story?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I'll do it for top and not top story of the day. Let's get to a break. When we come back, we've got to talk about some news that came out earlier today about the Tigers basketball team and the Tiger football team. That's next.
Join the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin, for Wolo and Friends. Weekday mornings from 10 to 11, here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Did you know nearly 40% of men under 40 and over 75% of men over the age of 40 experience sexual performance concerns? At the Memphis Men's Clinic, their experienced physician performs a comprehensive evaluation that determines which specific issues may interfere with your sexual performance. These issues can vary and range from anxiety to medical issues, low testosterone, or erectile dysfunction. The Memphis Men's Clinic has evaluated hundreds of men of all ages over the years and reestablished a normal sexual life. The Memphis Men's Clinic will work aggressively to resolve issues and allow you to restore your sexual health and overall well-being. That's the Memphis way. If you're 20 years old or 90 years old, come and get cared for the Memphis way. Treatment that's based on your specific needs after a professional clinical evaluation by their experienced board-certified physician. Call the Memphis Men's Clinic today at 901-443-0475 or visit memphismensclinic.com.
Did you know a percentage of accidents are because people are texting and driving at the same time? If you've been hit by a driver texting and not paying attention to the road, call the law offices of Arthur Horn III. You probably know them for their big cases, but they know your case is big too. Let them represent you. Join the winning team at the law offices of Arthur Horn III. Call today, Arthur Horn III, 901-331-1816. That's 901-331-1816. And please, don't text and drive.
Find your next great hire with Indeed. Their hiring solution helps attract, interview, and hire candidates all in one place. Sponsor a job and get a short list of quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Corky's Barbecue.
Hi, Jimmy Stovall here with Corky's Barbecue. For 39 years, Corky's has been proud to serve our legendary slow-smoked barbecue in our dining room and drive-thru. Whether you're stopping by to pick up a barbecue sandwich, some Corky's award-winning catfish, or any other meal, you can add a third of a rack of ribs for only $7.99. You heard that right. Add a third of a rack of ribs to any order for only $7.99. You can place your order to go at Corky'sBBQ.com. That's Corky'sBBQ.com.
Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company, we have it all. From handmade Amish leather belts, fine and casual clothing, boots, casual boots, work boots, fancy boots, and even safety-toed boots. Lots of cowboy hats to choose from, even Nebo lights, good-looking duck head dress shirts, duck head caps, shorts, and pants. Tons of jeans from Ariat, Wrangler, Devil Dog, and Kimes Ranch jeans. At Hewlett & Dunn, we have a great selection of Old South t-shirts and caps. Fine clothing from dress to casual to Sunday best. Enjoy choosing from UFO's orthopedic-approved shoes. Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company. Boots of every size, every color, every skin. Great quality Western, work, and safety toe boots. Hewlett & Dunn Boots and Clothing Company. 111 North Center Street, Collierville. Hewlett & Dunn. Hewlett & Dunn, serving you and your family since 1961.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Brett Norsworthy here for FanDuel. Snap into action this NFL season with FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. Right now, new customers get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place a $5 bet. That's $200 in bonus bets, win or lose. If you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, there's no better time to get in on the action than right now. The app is easy to use. There's a wide range of betting options, spreads, player props, over and unders, and a lot more. So visit FanDuel.com/sports56. Promo code SPORTS56 and kick off the NFL season with FanDuel. Official partner of the NFL. Must be 21 or older and present in Tennessee. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable. Bonus bets expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line at 1-800-889-9789.
So I saw some interesting news earlier today about the Tigers, both basketball and football. So Jay Morganson, I know you're really excited about both these topics. Okay. Thank you. That was very
Is that what
good.
the question was going to be?
It really was. Which one are you going to start with?
I'll take
football or
football,
basketball?
please, for 600.
Take football for 6. So Silverfield talked to the media earlier today, said some interesting things, kind of about starters, about where people stand. We'll get the depth chart early next week for week 1 against Bethune-Cookman. But he did say that Anthony Lanphier is going to be the starting tight end.
What do they call that? I'm sorry for interrupting you. What do they call it, the depth chart?
The 2 deep.
The 2 deep. That's
deep.
right, the 2 deep. Give you 2 deep.
2 deep.
Yeah, 2 deep.
We'll get the 2 deep next week. But he did clear up a couple of things. With Caden Prescorn gone, he's down at Ole Miss now. Obviously, that starting tight end position is open. He said Anthony Lanphier is going to be the starting tight end. Lanphier, he joined the team before last season after playing JUCO at the College of San Mateo in San Mateo, California. He was a 3-star JUCO tight end, a top 50 JUCO prospect, number 2 JUCO tight end in the country in that recruiting class. So, I mean, a very well-regarded JUCO tight end, played in 13 games last year, but didn't see much action at tight end. Got in a lot in blocking sets, but did not record any stats in terms of receptions, yards, anything like that. So he'll be the starting tight end, it looks like, right now. Silverfield also talked about McKylan Pounders and said he's hoping that he can be their starting left tackle. This is a really young guy, redshirt sophomore, that appeared in 7 games last year, made 2 starts while that offensive line was dealing with injuries last year. He also said Jonah Dillon, who's the new beat writer for the Commercial Appeal, said that Silverfield's talked multiple times about all of the competition in the offensive line room, and so it seems like McKylan Pounders, who, like I said, is a very young guy, looks like he'll probably get the start at left tackle. So couple of starters there. Also raved again about Sutton Smith and what he's done. I'm excited about Sutton Smith. Are you excited about Sutton Smith?
What position does Sutton Smith play?
Running back.
Oh, then yeah.
Man. Young running back.
Is he going to start then?
We don't know. We don't know.
We don't have the 2 deep yet.
We don't have the 2 deep. We'll have the 2 deep next week, so I'll be the answer to all your questions.
That was the only one I had, is who is he and what position is he?
Well, that's 2 questions.
Yes,
all
2.
Your questions. But this is a guy, he'll be a redshirt sophomore this year. Got some run late in the season last year as a redshirt freshman. Got his 4 games before redshirting his true freshman year. But this is a guy last year, whenever Coach Silverfield would talk about the running backs, he would rave about Sutton Smith. And then 2 years ago, when he was a true freshman, I was working, helping out with the post-game radio stuff. It was more post-game for the coaches show, because they record an interview with Coach Silverfield after home games for the coaches show that debuts on Sunday night. So I was helping out. Dave does that, and Jarvis Greer does it with him. And so after every game about...
Oh, do you think Jarvis... I don't know if Jarvis will still do it, though.
Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea. Is he going to be on the radio broadcast with him?
Has to be. But the coach's show is in affiliation with Action News 5.
Action News 5, that's a good point.
So Jarvis might not do that
anymore.
Might not.
But
I think Jarvis is still doing radio with it. I'm really not positive about that.
So I'm not sure.
I know Cope is on there. Russell Copeland is on there, on their team as well.
So I don't... And it might have changed last year.
And Greg is on their team, right?
Greg's the sideline reporter. Or I think he joined sidelines with them, yeah.
And then Greg will be on the TV during the games, too.
Jumbotron. I love seeing Greg on the Jumbotron. But no, so this was 2 years ago. So things might have changed. I don't know how it was last year. But 2 years ago, I would be down there and I would help, get Coach Silverfield all hooked up to the mics and make sure.
Hey, Coach, how you doing? Is that what you would say to him?
Good win today, Coach.
Good win today, Coach. What would you say if they lost? Nothing.
Hey, Coach, how you doing?
No, you don't say anything.
And so, but Silverfield always fantastic in those interviews, in those situations. Very friendly guy. And but he would come in a lot, and while he's getting ready, while we're getting ready to shoot, after the shoot, while we're getting everything packed up, him and Dave would just kind of be chit chatting. Him and Jarvis would just be kind of chit chatting. We'd all just kind of be talking. And even back then, when Sutton Smith was a true freshman, he would rave. He would go, "We have this freshman who's a running back that we got. He's going to be the steal of that recruiting class. He could be our starting back in a couple of years. He could be a star." Think about some of these running backs. Think about Tony Pollard and what he did for this team, and now where he's at. Sutton Smith is right on that level of Tony Pollard. So there's a lot of excitement, but in the same, same token, I mean, he's Silverfield's gone out and gotten a lot of transfer running backs, has gotten one the past 2 years that has been really the featured guy offensively for both of their previous schools. So there's going to be a lot of it's going to be a battle in that running back room. And so I don't know who's going to emerge, but it seems like the coaching staff is absolutely in love with what Sutton Smith can bring to this team. So if he's not the starter, you're certainly going to see a lot from him.
Well, I've long said that I think Sutton is going to be the starter this year.
Okay.
I've been very
you're
clear about that and up front. I'm not team Sutton,
Okay.
Brian.
I'm sorry.
not team anybody. I'm a journalist.
Right.
And so I have thought for a long time.
Just watching him play.
Just based on what I've heard.
Watching the kid play.
And seen. And I've had my ear to the ground on this one. And everything I understand is that Sutton Smith is most likely going to get first-team reps and be listed first on the 2 deep.
Oh, wow. This is exclusive. I mean, you're
You know what? No.
here.
I'm not breaking any news.
Okay.
I think here's what I've heard. I've heard he's going to be getting first-team reps when we come to Week 1 game. Now,
okay.
I don't want to say he's going to be listed first on the 2 deep.
Right.
Because
Understood.
Coach Silverfield and the people that I'm talking to, and from what I remember from Coach
Your
Silverfield's
sources.
2 deep last year, there was a lot of oars on Coach's 2 deep in Week 1 last year.
The college coaches love the oar.
There was a lot of oars
Favorite
on
word.
Coach Silverfield's in particular. A lot of battles going on last year, I recall. As I recall, I should say. And I've been hearing from people he would be willing to do that again.
Ooh.
So I'm not willing to say Sutton Smith is going to be the Week 1 first player listed on the 2 deep.
I see.
But I think he'll be getting first-team reps.
Do you think my favorite is when
I'm reporting that exclusively.
I like that. It's a Sportstime exclusive. My favorite is when you get the multiple oars in the same position. So like you might have like so-and-so or so-and-so
or so-and-so else.
So-and-so. So it's like 3 guys in there.
That could be a running back deal.
Could be.
If it's at quarterback, you're in trouble.
Yeah. I think any position other than quarterback, you're fine. If it's quarterback,
No. You don't want 2 left tackles.
That's a good point.
You don't need tackles splitting reps.
That's a good point. So maybe outside.
I don't want a center.
O&D
I don't want my center splitting reps.
No, absolutely not.
I don't want my middle linebacker splitting
Jacob
reps.
likes you've got a great center for the Tigers this year.
I don't want my middle linebacker splitting reps.
Really?
If he's
kind of
calling
the captain,
defense,
yeah, he's the captain of the defense.
So I don't want my captain splitting reps.
I feel that.
Whoever's calling plays, you ain't splitting reps. Mm-hmm. That's all the reporting I've done on this.
That's all you've got? Well, thank you for that.
What up? You said you had basketball news?
Yeah, well, I
care about this at all?
Probably not.
Okay. Well, we'll find out.
But Frank Bonner for the Daily Memphian, he also added that Coach Silverfield said that transfer safety Simeon Blair from Arkansas will be one of the best DBs in the country this year. So get excited about that. Simeon Blair coming over from Arkansas.
So he'll be first on the depth chart.
He'll be on. He'll be a starter.
That's what my people are saying.
I knew that was coming. Also, just very quickly before I get over to basketball, we've got new enhanced tailgate options for the University of Memphis.
My people are also saying that, Brian.
I'm excited about this. New tailgate area on Tiger Lane.
You know what? Can I be totally transparent for a second? This is the most interesting thing you've talked about as it regards to Tiger football, as far as my perspective is concerned. The listener who really cares about Tiger football would not agree. They love your insight on the team. But in terms of what I like, I go hang out with my family at Tiger Lane, and when we get into the game, I might be distracted from time to time and not paying as close of attention as possible.
I was very excited also when I saw this.
So this I want to hear.
Because I have not gotten to enjoy Tiger Lane over the last couple of years working on game days. So I'm going to be able to enjoy it this year. So let me tell you a little bit about what we've got at Tiger Lane this year. New tailgate area on Tiger Lane. They're adding food trucks and beer sales. They'll also have extra seating and tables around.
That's a con right there, man.
What do you mean that's a con?
The food trucks aren't a con. Food trucks, that's awesome.
That's great. I love food trucks.
The beer sales is a con.
Yeah, no, you're probably right.
Yeah, bring your own.
Bring your own.
Unless you go want to pay $15 for a 24 ounce or something like that.
So the tailgate area is going to open up 3 hours before, close 30 minutes before the game. They're going to have this is all it says. I wanted more information about this. They're going to have a large TV in the tailgate area where fans can vote on which game to watch during their tailgate experience.
I thought tailgating was all about you bringing, like, all you need is a parking lot. And then I'll bring all the other crap.
Anything else I want.
You just give me a parking space, and I got the rest. I'll get a generator. I got my flatbed here.
I got my TV.
I got lawn chairs, and we got. Hell, I don't only have one tent. I got two tents. Hell, I don't just have one table. I got two tables. Hell, I got 3 tables. I don't. Isn't that what tailgating is?
Yeah. So I guess they're just trying to make it easier for me. I have no idea. But I'm more concerned about, like, how is the voting for the game going to go?
That sounds like a. Well, no, I was gonna say.
It sounds like a party.
I was gonna say it sounds like a park. Like people are just going to like.
Yeah.
Well, if you don't have a place to tailgate with people, that's cool. You can just show up, you and a friend, and just go sit in the middle.
Yeah.
But hey, hell, bring 2 lawn chairs and just go sit in the sun in front of the TV.
Yeah.
That could be cool.
Yeah. So
I take it back, Bryant.
I'm just interested on how that's going to work. Are they going to, like, put it out on, like, Twitter or something a couple of days before the game, and, like, you vote on what game you want to be being shown on this giant television?
Or maybe it's real time. Like, what's the app that you use in a classroom to answer questions?
Kahoot.
That is one. You're right, Kahoot. But there's another one that, like, is used in colleges that doesn't have as frivolous of a name.
We used Kahoot in college.
Is that right?
Is that right? Yes,
all right,
we did.
Well, I used a different one in other colleges.
I'm not familiar.
But yeah, basically Kahoot. It could be like a Kahoot deal.
It could be. So I thought that was really
Or like
interesting.
when you vote on what song you want to hear, like Ole Miss does a thing, like tell us what song you want to hear.
Scan the QR code,
or like
and
you
it takes
tweet,
you to a website.
or scan QR code, or
that
you tweet something.
Yeah, it really could be. They also said for the games they're going to have more enhanced fireworks, so bigger and badder fireworks, and they're going to have a DJ in the student section now, which I thought's interesting and cool. I wish there was a student there when I was or a DJ there when I was in the student section. Fortunately, there wasn't. Now for the basketball news very quickly. We've talked a lot about DeAndre and
now is basketball adding any additional pyrotechnics to their games, or is that just a football deal?
I think that's just a football
just
deal.
Football.
For right now, though, maybe when we get closer to the season.
That's what I want to see: fireworks in the FedEx Forum.
Well. Maybe. We'll try to.
Or does that require outdoors?
I think that requires outdoors. But maybe not. I don't know. We could try
Then I'll be impressed.
So today, John Fanta, who works for Fox and Fox Sports, he wrote about the 12 teams to watch for in 2024 that are title contenders. He put Memphis in the final category for the dark horses. Okay, can you just wait a second and let me get to the part that I really want to bring up?
I'm so sorry.
Thank you. So he talks about the Tigers and about what the big thing is the experience and the age of the players on this team. But then his last sentence here,
it's about DeAndre.
Keep an eye out. And that's not even the crazy. He's talking about the age for all these guys. That's not even the craziest nugget on this team. DeAndre Williams will turn 27 in October. His request to the NCAA for another year of eligibility is still in limbo, and sources tell Fox Sports chances are it will get denied.
Wow.
So, which is weird.
You're right. You're right in telling me to wait for the end because I was going to roast that thing. Like, we don't even know what the roster is. They're deciding who's a contender and who isn't. What a stupid story.
We don't care about any of that. The big part is that last sentence that they're hearing.
You know what, Bryant? I don't trust him.
You don't trust John Fanta?
I don't trust John Fanta. You want to know why?
Do you know
because
who John Fanta is?
Anybody stupid enough to write this article cannot have any sources that I care about. I mean, the roster hasn't even been set yet. He's deciding who's going to the national championship?
Yeah.
Stupid. So I don't trust John Fanta. Memphis fans, don't listen to him. He still might come. Forget about what this idiot says.
So we still feel positive
about
it, even though John Fanta.
The first positive thing I've said from Memphis fans all day.
Well,
you're welcome.
Because you just said something positive, and I think it could very quickly get to something negative about the Tigers. Let's go to a break. When we come back, we'll talk about the latest news from the NFL.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Attention, everyone. Family Leisure needs your help clearing out their inventory. Let me say that again. Family Leisure is needing your help to clear out their inventory. And to do so, there are tons of great deals throughout the store. For example, all do-it-yourself pools are $1,000 off. Special 24-foot round pools for less than $2,000. Select play gyms, only $18.99. Hey, if you need patio furniture, they have patio furniture that's now up to 30% off. Spas are in stock. They're up to $1,200 off. Now listen up, because I'm only going to say this once. 24 months, same as cash financing, is now available through this sale. Family Leisure needs your help clearing out their inventory, so come and do your part at Family Leisure. Whitten Road and I-40, where family and fun come together.
Kick your hiring process into hyper gear with Indeed, the hiring solution that helps you attract, interview, and hire candidates. Sponsor a job and instantly receive a short list of quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
A new era in public safety begins with you. Be the change you want to see. Join us for the Memphis Police Department Hiring Expo, Saturday, August 26, 2023, from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. at 170 North Main Street downtown. We'll be taking applications, performing basic testing, and interviewing candidates on site. Free parking will be located at Poplar Avenue and Front Street. Salary starting at $60,700. Benefits include a $15,000 sign-on bonus, up to $10,000 relocation assistance. For more information or details, visit joinmpd.com.
When a cold comes on strong, knock it out with Vicks DayQuil Severe for max strength daytime relief. Just one dose of Vicks DayQuil Severe starts to relieve 9 of your worst cold and flu symptoms to help take you from 9 to none. Power through your day with Vicks DayQuil Severe, the daytime non-drowsy, coughing, aching, fever, sore throat, 9 to none medicine. Use as directed.
Your favorite Italian pasta company and deli, Lucchese's, now ships. For over 25 years, Memphis has trusted Lucchese's to feed their loved ones, and now they've crafted 3 great comfort food meals that can be shipped across the country to your friends and family. Enjoy lasagna, ravioli, spaghetti, Italian spinach, and delicious sauces with no MSG, no preservatives, and no artificial colors. All you need to do is go to lucchese's.com to place your order or call 901-766-9922.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
So we mentioned earlier, we talked earlier about Hard Knocks. We talked earlier about, unfortunately, Corey Davis
I went
retiring.
to the school of Hard Knocks.
So long, farewell.
Also St.
Corey
George's.
Davis. Which one was better, the School of Hard Knocks or St. George's?
I learned different things in both.
I see. That makes sense. Also, I saw the 49ers have announced their backup quarterback. There was a backup quarterback battle.
Yeah, but Bo yesterday was like guaranteed. He's like, it's going to be Darnold.
And it was. It is Darnold.
Which was weird because I'm looking at that, and I had also seen it was Darnold yesterday, but that's why I asked Bo I saw a stat that NFL Network put up. I guess it was yesterday afternoon when I was watching NFL Network because that's when I watched it all day long.
Right.
And it was they put up how many more reps and attempts Trey Lance has had in the preseason than Sam Darnold. And I guess that makes sense. You're feeling this guy out. You kind of know what you have in Sam Darnold, I guess. And Sam Darnold did get a considerable amount, but you would think that's a lot of time for Sam Darnold to get some work in, some much-needed work in, I would say.
Yeah.
But not to say Trey Lance doesn't need that work, too. I guess it's a tricky situation. They decided to go that route.
Yeah.
Knowing all along, I guess your investment into Trey Lance is larger, technically, than your investment into Sam Darnold. And so you really want to make sure you exhaust this avenue to say, is there anything we're not tapping into? Are we sure we want to move on? One last chance, everybody. Boom. We don't have
Well,
anything.
and I wonder if part of it is, I think you've seen Sam Darnold. I think you feel comfortable with him as a backup quarterback. But for Trey Lance, the knock on him really this whole offseason has been he just hasn't had a ton of reps. And so maybe you want to get him those reps to try to kind of see what you've got there. Maybe you're just so confident in what you have with Sam Darnold as a backup. I don't know.
I'm not sure either.
It's interesting. But now, because of this, it looks like the 49ers are now...
And Purdy only played in one game, by the way, we should say.
Yeah. No, I mean...
So it wasn't even a competition as far as Purdy is concerned. He's the guy.
And with Purdy, I mean, he's just now coming back from that injury, so I don't know if they really wanted to throw him out there.
Oh, good point by you. Yeah,
so
you're right.
Early.
That could be a factor as well.
But, I mean, anytime anybody talked about that team. Any of the coaches talked about that team. There was no doubt of who the starting quarterback was going to be.
So both things true, probably.
Brock Purdy. So, yeah, I think it was a little bit of both. But now, because Trey Lance is now going to be, I guess, option number 3 for the 49ers, they've the reporters out there in San Francisco are saying that they're exploring all of their options and that there's a chance that they could try to trade Trey Lance somewhere else, which would be crazy because they traded up to get Trey Lance in the draft. So very weird situation.
That's the
for
cost
the 49ers.
of business sometimes,
it really
though, I mean, if you make a pattern of it, it's a problem, but like you missed on this one, and that could be why they played him so much. We want to make sure before we decide to do this, we want to exhaust this. And also, maybe they decided beforehand, too, and with the way preseason looks nowadays, you can get some film out there for this guy that could help his trade stock when you look to move on from him, because we
Especially
talked
with
about
how little he played last year. I mean, getting injured in week 2.
Well, and it's not to say you're taking a risk even on putting him out there in terms of the film he puts out there. It's not going to change your mind if you've already decided, because like we talked about over the course of the last 3 weeks and going back to last year's preseason, preseason is worse football. Not to say worse as in like it's not NFL quality, but it's a much farther gap from what the NFL has become than it used to be. Dak Prescott once put film in the preseason out there that made him the starter as soon as Tony Romo went down. And so that sort of thing just doesn't exist in the preseason anymore. So you're essentially guaranteed when you say we're going to throw Trey Lance out there, this is really good film he's going to put out there, and it's only going to enhance his trade value when we look to move on from him.
No, I think you're absolutely right. Another thing I saw just about 30 minutes or so, looks like the Colts have given Jonathan Taylor until Tuesday to find a trade partner. Reportedly, 6 teams have inquired about him, and 2 have made official offers for Jonathan Taylor. So it does look like, I mean, half a dozen teams out there at least.
God bless him for letting him choose where he wants to play.
That is really interesting. It's good. I mean, I'm glad to see it, but not something you usually see. I mean, we've seen in the NBA just this offseason where players have been vocal about places they want to play, and teams saying, we don't care. We're going to trade you wherever we get the best deal.
Well, and he hasn't made like a big show of this either. He had the maturity to go to the facility and meet with management multiple times, if I'm not mistaken,
he showed up at training camp. I mean, he's not participating, but he's there. Right. He's around the team. He's around the coaches. He's around management, owners, front office people.
I didn't even realize he was at the facility for training camp stuff, just not participating too. So even more so, it seems like he's handled it with maturity, and they're reciprocating on the other end by saying, "Yeah, man, we can accommodate you for this. You've given us some work." Yeah. And that's really how it should be done. It doesn't have to be like either you cave all the way or I cave all the way.
One of us got to win.
This is how you behave in a professional environment. I think people can relate to that in their own jobs as well, and it's similar here in the NFL.
Absolutely. So, but that is absolutely interesting. I just saw before we go to a break, you mentioned in your top story of the day, Shohei Ohtani hit a home run in his first at-bat. He was pulled in the second inning with some sort of injury. I just saw MLB Network today.
Oh, yeah, he left with the trainer. I just saw that as well.
Yeah, so not sure what happened there, but Shohei Ohtani, this is now the second time in the last couple of months that he's had to be pulled from a game.
But at least he had his 44th home run before that.
That's right. But a little concerning, though, that he's now been pulled twice from the mound with an injury. But let's go ahead and get to a break. When we come back to start our second hour, John Goen from Timber Trust Golf will join us. We'll talk some golf and we'll make our picks. That's next.
You or someone you know or care about has dealt with a difficult divorce. When facing divorce, you need the attorneys at Rice Law. Nick and Larry Rice lead the firm with 3 generations and 7 decades of experience. Located in Memphis, serving the entire state of Tennessee and North Mississippi. Rice Law is who you need to call. Simple or difficult divorce, they know how to handle it. Call Rice Law at 901-526-6701, or for more information, visit them at aboutdivorce.com. That's aboutdivorce.com.
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director at Lexus of Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 901-271-5199.
Visit Frontier Western Store today for new shirts and boots. Frontier is your top Carhartt store in the Mid-South. There's thousands of in-stock shirts and jeans. They have the classic K87 pocket tee in every color they make, including new ones just released. Available small to 4X. Want new jeans? Frontier has you covered with super tough work denim by Carhartt. And you've got to check out their selection of Ariat jeans for men, women, and children. You'll love how easy it is to find the size and style you need. Have you seen Frontier's remodeled world-famous boot showroom? It continues to expand. New styles by Ariat just arrived, plus plenty of in-stock proven classics too. Whether you need work or dress boots, trust that Frontier's the place to come. See thousands of pairs of Ariat boots and thousands more by Dan Post, Corral, Durango, Rocky, Twisted X, and others. And Frontier's pricing is lower than online and chain stores, so you know just the local shop to visit. Frontier Western Store, 5880 Goodman Road in Olive Branch, and on the web at frontierwesternstore.com. Locally owned and operated since 1967.
Research shows people ignore radio ads. While I want you to remember that Liberty Mutual customizes and saves you hundreds on home insurance, I know no one's listening, so I can say anything. I can even tell Jenny that I never stop thinking about us. Sometimes I almost call, but I only truly feel safe revealing this in the privacy of my nationally broadcast radio ad.
Only pay for what you need at LibertyMutual.com. Savings may vary. Underwritten by Liberty Mutual Insurance Company and affiliates. Excludes Massachusetts.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Nestled in the heart of East Memphis, located corner of Park and Cherry, is a beautiful residential neighborhood. I'm here at Town Village Audubon Park interviewing a new resident, Carolyn. Share with us why you chose Town Village.
Well, if your parents or special friends need to make that big move, let me share with you my experience. It was tough for me to leave home, but then I discovered Town Village. I would like to highly recommend Town Village to you and your loved ones. After looking at all the amenities and meeting all the people and staff, I was hooked. From restaurant, bistro, 3 meals per day, housekeeping, transportation, security, health care, physical therapy, exercise room, and even a heated pool and spa. Come see us and make your new home at Town Village.
Visit us and call Daniel at Town Village Audubon Park at 901-374-7342. There's no place like home, Town Village.
I know the sweetest thing in Memphis, and I know it's been around for 120 years. You know, I'm talking about Dinstall's, and it's time to stock up heavy on Cashew Crunch, Heavenly Crunch, Turtlettes, all of your favorite Dinstall's treats to watch the playoff games and to watch all the basketball. It's so easy to get. The sweetest thing in Memphis, all you have to do is head to Laurelwood or head to Germantown and Poplar right across from the hospital, or go where they make the candies. That's on Pleasant View. There's nothing that says Memphis better than Cashew Crunch with that little tinge of coconut, or the Turtlettes. Let's face it, there's nothing better than Dinstall's chocolate. That's the mainstay of all candies, isn't it? Milk chocolate, although their dark chocolate is pretty darn good. And if you get the peppermint with the dark chocolate and put it in the freezer, you're going to love it. So many ways to love Dinstall's. 115 years of making Memphis oh so sweet.
Do you know one of the best things you can do for your employees or family's health? Provide Arctic Clear bottled water. Arctic Clear bottled water is your locally owned and operated bottled water provider. Arctic Clear is 100% natural spring water with free delivery and setup, dependable service, and no long-term contracts. What an easy choice. Call Jeff Manus today, 901-382-2363, or visit arctic-clear.com. Arctic Clear bottled water. Call now, 382-2363. That's 382-2363.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
Oh, yeah. Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant Dacus and Jay Morgan Harder with you as we start our second hour, and joining us to talk some golf and make some picks, John Goen from Timber Trust Golf joins us now. John, thanks for joining us. How are things this week down at Timber Trust?
You know, Bryant, I have no clue.
Oh, yeah, you're on vacation this week.
So I am in Cabo, Mexico. It is we played probably the best golf course I might have played in some time down here, Key Vera today. And it is amazing. Right along the ocean. What a spectacular place. After being in Cancun and Playa del Carmen a couple of different times, Cabo is a different part of Mexico that I tell you, I could come back here often and enjoy myself.
Wow, I was already a little jealous of you for your big win over the weekend. That pretty much wraps up your win in these golf picks. But a little more jealous now.
Look, I don't like to brag, but like what a comeback! I looked
Fantastic.
at it. I looked at it at one point in time. I was in fourth place, I think, and then about 2 months ago, like it was $10+ million. And Brett, it was after the PGA when Brett ran his little victory lap with Brooks Koepka, went in quad, and we were like, no, let's just play this out. We'll just kind of ride it out of here a little bit.
Change all the rules and everything.
Right, exactly. So it's always fun. Always enjoy being on with y'all, and I got lucky from a pick perspective and made a couple of really good choices, and they all paid off.
Well, John, Hovland seems to have found something here in Memphis. Like the last stretch of his play here in Memphis, obviously translated to a win this week. What have you been most impressed by his play, and do you think he can keep it up going into Atlanta this week?
Well, I think Victor's been a pretty good player for some time, and it's going to be interesting to see. Now the pressure's on him a little bit, right? That's what we kind of talk about, and Victor has not necessarily shown himself to be the best pressure golfer. If you look at majors, his performance in majors and things along those lines, when really, the spotlight's on him. He doesn't necessarily perform to the expectation, but to y'all's point, he definitely found a little momentum here in Memphis between him and both Patrick Cantlay. Patrick didn't have the best of weeks at BMW, but you got to think that Patrick's got a pretty good chance this week as well. So it's going to be an interesting 4 days. 30 players, so it's kind of a free for all right now. I still don't like the format of, Scheffler being 10 under par already. It kind of benefits him substantially. I get the fact that at the end of the day, it just rewards his consistent play through the course of the year. But I'd like for everybody to kind of have a bit of a chance going in.
Yeah,
the Tour Championship this week.
Absolutely. When you just mentioned kind of that advantage that Scotty Scheffler has at the beginning of this tournament, and he seemed to be right there last week at the BMW Championship, T2 finish for him, and kind of in some of those earlier rounds, it looked like he could make a run last weekend. Do you think this could be the week he could capitalize on, especially with kind of that fast start or kind of lead he has to start off with?
I'd have to go back and take a really hard look because I don't recall. But how many times has the guy in the lead at the Tour Championship won the Tour Championship and won the FedEx Cup? It feels like those guys kind of have that lead, and everybody else shows up a little hungrier and kind of makes a run, and it kind of puts these guys at a bit of a disadvantage. So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens over the span of the next couple weeks or couple days. Look, I think that Scotty has got. I think Scotty's got clearly the momentum. from the standpoint of he's in the lead, he's got a 2-shot lead, and but I mean he clearly needs to kind of make sure that he shows up. I mean, 2 shots isn't a heck of a lot over a span of 4 days, so should be interesting.
Let me ask you this, John. And I'm kind of putting you on the spot a little bit. I apologize. Have you ever played East Lake? And if so, can you tell us anything about it? What do you know about it? What are we going to have to watch for at East Lake?
Well, it's been a while, but as a matter of fact, when I played it, of course, 18 and 9 have flipped, right? They used to always play the 18th hole as a par 3. They flipped that to play, the 9th hole now, which is a par 5, and I think the members still play it, the old way to where 18 is the par 3. So, I played it in the middle of summertime. It was hot, probably fairly similar to what it is at home right now. And, good golf course, a lot of fun, very enjoyable, and it's gettable for these guys. I think it kind of turns into a bit of a shootout, and it should be interesting to kind of see what happens over the span of these next few days, and ultimately as to who winds up, coming out FedEx Cup champion.
Yeah. Well, John, to your point, maybe feeling a little bit like it does here. I can never remember the fella's name.
Hot here, I'll tell
Who's
you
the
that.
guy that works for ESPN, the bigger fella that he used to have a big beard.
Michael Collins.
Michael Collins. Yeah. I saw him on TV earlier today, and he was sweating beads already, just standing out in the sun, just to show the people at home watching how hot it was in Atlanta. The tournament here maybe could be very indicative of what we could see in Atlanta this week.
Fellas, I hate to say it, it's cooler in Cabo right now than it is back home. It's like 88. It's like 88 down here. The sun's out. We're right on the ocean. The waves are breaking. Really, really blue water. It's just, yeah. So,
Thanks,
but
John.
they're going to be hot.
Appreciate it.
They're going to be hot in Atlanta. I didn't mean to rub that in.
No.
Yeah, I kind of maybe did, but
Well, you did. You definitely did. I saw John Rahm earlier today was talking to the media, and it just seems like with sports betting becoming legalized in more and more states, it's kind of captivating these sports and these athletes. And John Rahm kind of talked about how he hears hecklers a lot talking about their bets and trying to heckle different golfers because of certain bets they made. I mean, I know here in Memphis a couple weeks ago, I one day went to 14 and just kind of sat there. They had general admission seating, and I took a seat and made a couple of live hole bets.
A couple.
While I was sitting there, maybe 4
Every
or 5.
group, John. He's not telling you just how much of a degenerate he actually is.
Look, Jay, thank you for being honest. I mean, because at the end of the day, I mean, yes, we're all a bunch of degenerate gamblers, and I can't deny the fact that I do that same thing. So, but I mean, heckling's definitely turning into something. I mean, I saw some stuff on Twitter over the span of the last, few days in particular where guys are kind of starting to get heckled. The tour's got to get that under control.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that cannot turn into something that ultimately, impacts the outcome of these events. And look, I get, you're dealing with volunteers, you're dealing with gallery marshals and stuff like that. But I mean, look, you can't let that impact what's happening with these guys and what the ultimate outcome is of these events. I mean, I saw something the other day, where Tiger was playing in the Open Championship and some guy, yells something right even before he makes impact to be able to, kind of miss a golf shot. And, look, enjoy the opportunity and the ability to be able to gamble if that's what you want to do.
Sure.
But don't ultimately be the overall person that impacts the outcome of what is happening as well, because that's manipulating the situation. And that's ultimately not what the spirit of being able to do these things is about. And so, it's the world in which we live in right now. We deal with it in multiple things. We deal with it in college football. Clearly, the NFL is cracking down on players that are gambling on events and games. And so there's a pretty fine line right now, and folks are going to need to figure out how they're going to be able to manage through this situation. But it's just unfortunate that you've got folks that over a couple of dollars here and there are willing to raise their voice, scream, do whatever to ultimately wind up winning a couple bucks here and there.
John, I thought it was interesting, too, and I feel like all my questions are putting you on the spot. I really do apologize for that, honestly. But I also saw that the commissioner, I think last year at this time when he gave his talk before they played at East Lake, that's when he announced the schedule for this season and saying there's going to be more of these marquee events or whatever that you're going to get more money. Yesterday he took the podium and he didn't announce anything. And in the midst of this kind of live merger and everything, they've also already announced they're doing less of the marquee events again next year. It kind of leaves the door open for some of these live guys to come back, maybe play in a couple tournaments where everybody plays together like they do in the majors. Do you have a hunch one way or another? Do you think you're going to see these live guys included more in the coming PGA Tour season?
It's a hard one, Jay. Unfortunately, these guys still love to be able to dig their feet in the sand here, a little bit. I saw something just recently where, even Scotty Scheffler's like, if Brooks would have just played in one PGA Tour event this year, then he would have made the Ryder Cup team. Well, I mean, Brooks Koepka is clearly one of the best players in the world. Why you leave him off a Ryder Cup team just because he's on a different tour is absolutely absurd to me if you want to win. Mm-hmm. What's the goal of the Ryder Cup? The goal of the Ryder Cup, last time I checked, is you want to win. Yeah. And so, as you continue to go down this path, again, it's a negotiation, guys, and they are in this process of negotiating. And, you've got to be able to figure out a common ground in this whole thing. And I don't know where that is. I don't have a very good answer as to where it's going to happen. But, realistically, too, let's face it, the tour's lost this whole thing, regardless of how much they want to, pound their chest and say that they're going to still ultimately control what happens in the future and whatever else. I mean, they went up against the bigger bully, and the bigger bully had deeper pockets.
Yeah.
And, that these guys want to continue to, poke and prod each other and do all this stuff is a bit childish. And it's a bit unfortunate for the game at the end of the day. And so, I guess I feel Brooks Koepka, Dustin Johnson, and probably Bryson DeChambeau should be on this Ryder Cup team if you want to win. If you don't want to win, then leave them all at home. And when you lose, it's not going to be if you lose, but when you lose, and Zach Johnson's your Ryder Cup captain, then who are you going to point the finger at? You're going to point the finger at the guys that play on the LIV Tour that ultimately is going to become your boss, and you're not willing to do something because of what? You are so loyal to the PGA Tour. So I think that. I think this is a huge issue and a huge challenge. But I think at the end of the day, all these guys that went and played LIV golf are going to be the victors. And it's just unfortunate that we have to continue to kind of, dig our feet and our heels in and want to, say words and kind of beat these guys up over a decision that they made that ultimately wound up being a very wise decision. So probably now you come out sounding maybe a little petty because you're on the losing side of it.
Well, I love two things you mentioned there, John. The first about being on the Ryder Cup if you want to win. Wolo and I went through the roster for the Europeans this morning, and they've got a really good roster compared to the Americans. Team. It's really not even, at least in my opinion, I would take the Europeans fairly easily in that regard. And to a second point you mentioned there is they're talking about Lucas Glover, and Lucas Glover has played some unbelievable golf. He's had a great stretch of golf, but I think everyone questions how sustainable that would be for him to play that long term, especially because he's going to get exhausted here pretty soon playing at this level this many weeks in a row here. And you're talking about picking him over those names in the LIV that you just mentioned. I think you make an excellent point there in both of those ways.
Look, I think that again, it's it's become so petty on multiple fronts that these guys just need to figure it out.
The thing that Liv does with the teams, almost better served to do PGA versus Liv, because that's some actual rivalry you got working now.
Well, I mean, let's face it, fellas. I mean, you're talking about guys that, at the end of the day, they literally say out in front of whomever, Rory and all these guys, that in Jupiter or wherever they're living, when they run into these guys, there's no problems whatsoever. They're practicing at their country clubs, and they're this and they're that, and there's no heated issue. This is purely for show. And, it's absolutely ridiculous. This is where we're at, where we beat our chest purely for show. So, I don't know. I think that Zach Johnson and these guys need to be above all this. They need to figure out who is going to make the best team that allows them or gives them the chance to be able to go win the Ryder Cup in Rome in a month. And get over the politics of this whole thing, because that's really what it is. And, to continue to allow Jay Monahan to want to run this thing in the future, I think is also extremely absurd. So,
Yeah. We're talking to John Goen from Timber Trust Golf, talking some golf and making some picks. And let's go ahead and get to our picks for the Tour Championship this week. Like we said earlier, John has pretty much wrapped up a victory for our golf picks this year. But obviously, we still got to make picks for this week.
Well, this is the great week to win, because if you win this week, then you can complain about how I didn't get all the money that I won, because the Tour champion obviously wins all the FedEx Cup money and stuff like that, and we don't factor that in. So win this week, you got a lot of bragging rights.
Jay.
You want to tell him, John?
Jay. Seriously, Jay.
Well, when you're in last place, John, you have to hang your hat on things like this.
Do not even go down this path, Jay. You have been in dead last most of this pick season.
All of the season, John. The entire season.
Well, I was there for a brief fleeting moment, and I kind of rallied. So,
anything's possible.
Look, we're not looking for just, a victory lap here on your behalf, So I finished $40 million behind whomever. It's not that, but yeah.
Okay, it's close. It's pretty close, I tell you.
when you just say it, it sounds so much better.
Yeah.
So, but Jay. Hey, Jay, I tell you what. I hope you do win.
No, me too.
I hope you win. I hope you win, so you have until Augusta next year to just, talk about how, if you'd have done this, that, and the other, that it would have just been substantially better.
Tell you what, I will lead the country, John, in excuse making and making life miserable for Brett and Bryant until we make picks next year.
Yeah, lucky John, he's in Cabo.
That's right. Exactly. He didn't have to deal with it. Exactly.
Great. Well, without
down
further
here,
ado,
having some tequila, fellas, and doing whatever.
Sounds like fun. Well, I'll kick us off then, and I'll take the guy that's already 10 under par. I'll take Scotty Scheffler.
All right. Scotty Scheffler for J-Mo. I didn't know that he was right there behind him, but I'm going to take Victor Hovland. I saw a tweet earlier. Sounds like he is dialed in this week, so I'll take Victor.
Well, Brett's up next.
Yeah, Brett's up next.
Yeah, Brett's up next. He'll take Rory McIlroy.
Of course he will.
Going right down the line there. You going to go down the line too, John?
I'll be honest, fellas. I don't even know who's in fourth right now.
I think Lucas Glover is 5 under. He's the next one in.
No, John Rahm.
Not even.
Oh, John Rahm. I'm sorry.
The man you share a name with.
Okay. All right, I'll take John Rahm.
Right.
Why not?
John
just
takes
for
John.
giggles.
Jay Morgan.
I am between two guys. I will take. I'll take Patrick Cantlay.
So you're literally taking my team from last week.
It looks like. Hey,
way to step out on the ledge.
It worked for you, John. I need it.
Decisions. I think I took him last week. We'll see what he can do this week. Max Homa.
He had a chance. Okay. Who's Brett got?
That means Brett will take Matt Fitzpatrick.
Boy. Wow. I will, I don't even know where to go in this pick.
It's tough.
It's tough.
Because you either pick a guy that's even par, or you pick one of these guys you might not trust as much with some under par.
On top,
Okay, you guys are bagging on Lucas Glover. The momentum continues, although he's exhausted, but he can still putt. Wow. I will take Lucas Glover.
Smart.
All right.
It's a victory lap, fellas. It's an absolute just victory lap.
It's not like you need anything.
That's smart. You could have got 5 under par already. That's really smart.
Why not? So the picks, Jay Morgan, you have Scotty Scheffler, Patrick Cantlay. I have Victor Hovland, Max Homa. Brett has Rory and Matt Fitzpatrick. John, you have John and Lucas Glover. John, before we let you go, tell us about some of the things y'all have coming up down at Timber Trust and how people can...
No, absolutely. So just a couple of two-mans left. We really have about 2 weeks, As soon as we get to 5 o'clock and we kind of push things. Now, we are kind of toying around with a couple of different ideas on the two-man. We're talking about maybe, still playing the two-man, and then we'll play the last few holes with some glow balls as it, gets dark. So that might be a little bit enjoyable. Look, we know it's hot. Looks like there's going to be a front or something move through over the span of the next few days as we get into next week. But should be a great weekend. And if you're looking to either get in a two-man tomorrow night, you can call us 662-895-3530. Visit us at timbertrustgolf.com to be able to book tee times. And then, of course, follow us on social. There is an absolute gem on social right now with one of our guys, Matt Clark, that's in our group, and just the putting a caption on the photo, and it has gotten a lot of interaction, and it's just an absolute beauty. So, visit us, Timber Trust Golf, on both Facebook and Instagram to be able to do that. So.
Awesome.
Should be really good coming up. Yeah. Fall golf's here, fellas. I get that it's football season, but it's also fall golf season, and we all know that fall golf season is just best time of the year to be able to get down, play the golf course, experience what's kind of going on. Yeah. Just come be part of our community. Just absolutely come down, see what we're doing, be a part of the community. Just be around people that enjoy playing golf, enjoy having a good time. There's no real egos. There's none of that we're ultimately trying to get involved in any of it. We just want everybody to come down, really enjoy what they do, enjoy being around folks that, love playing golf, love being a part of what golf is about. Mm-hmm. And, we look forward to seeing folks come down over the span of these next few months as we wrap up the season.
Absolutely. Well, John, thanks so much for joining us. Enjoy this golf tournament this weekend, and enjoy the rest of your trip.
Yeah, thanks, John.
Thanks, guys. We'll be back in the States on Saturday night, so we'll catch the last little tidbit of the Tour Championship. But thanks so much, and we'll look forward to talking next week, and as we really get into the heart of football season, and we can start talking some trash about Virginia Tech and how good or bad they're going to be in the ACC this year. Because I know all the folks in SEC country love to talk about the Hokies.
We'll talk about Hokies and Hurricanes. Miami, you and me, John, we got it.
There we go. All right, fellas.
Thanks, John. Safe travels.
Thanks so much.
Thanks,
all right,
John.
See you, bud.
John Goen from Timber Trust Golf. He joins us every week. We talk some golf with him and make our weekly picks. Last tournament coming up down in Atlanta, the Tour Championship will get things kicked off tomorrow.
You've been on a marathon watching golf all season, Brian. Are you happy? Are you a little bit relieved to get to the end of the year?
As you know, I don't want to crown myself as anything, maybe the beat writer for our station, the main coverager of this station. I tout myself.
Nobody had to tell you Scotty Scheffler started 10 under par.
Nobody. I tout myself as being the golf guy for this radio station. And that's a lot of pressure at the beginning of the season. And so when you get to the last leg, still a lot of pressure. I think next week, Monday morning, I'll be able to, really feel that weight.
Take a sigh of relief.
That weight's going to be taken off my shoulders.
God bless you.
Thank you. I mean, it's people like you I do it for.
TYFYS.
Had no idea Victor Hovland was starting 8 under.
Yeah,
but
that's hilarious. Because then when John said that Scotty's starting 10 under, I was like, oh, he didn't know that.
Can I be honest?
And then I thought I was going to tell you what everyone was. I was like, you know what? Maybe he'll think he's starting 10 under, and everyone else is starting even. Like he just gets a 10-stroke lead. Is that what you thought?
No. So I pulled it up. I had it pulled up, and I was like, It says Scotty Scheffler 10 under, Victor Hovland 8 under, Rory 7 under. I was looking
Have they already started?
I was looking at it, I was like, am I looking at last week's tournament on accident? Like, do I need to go up? And I was like, no, because Victor Hovland won last week. I was very confused. But then I remembered. I was like, I feel like I remember them doing some funny stuff like this last year.
A little wonky.
A little wonky. But as the golf reporter here for this station,
You were on top of it.
On top of it. But let's go ahead and get to a break. When we come back, there's been a lot of day baseball today. We'll talk some baseball on the other side.
You already know you can listen to Sports 56 anywhere with the Sports 56 app or at sports56whbq.com. But you can also watch us daily with live video of all of our shows on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch.
Is your roof leaking? Do you have water damage on your ceiling of your home or business? Do you need assistance gathering much-needed data and images from your storm-damaged roof for an insurance claim? Call Metro Builders, roof and restoration specialists, and schedule your free inspection. At Metro Builders, our team of Hague-certified technicians and fully trained estimators are ready to come out and evaluate any concerns you may have. Metro Builders Roof and Restoration. We accept all insurance carrier scopes. Call Metro Builders now. Each and every day, we provide clients many different types of data and estimates for their insurance carrier. These include estimate and photo reports of all damage, from the roof to water damage on rafters and ceilings and even studs and plates inside walls. Check out the local BBB for our 27-year history in construction in Memphis, or check us out online today at metrobuildersmemphis.com. That's metrobuildersmemphis.com for your local residential and commercial roofing and restoration experts. Call me. 901-375-1717. That's 901-375-1717.
I'm with John Burgos from the world-famous Rendezvous in the Alley since 1948.
Brett, we have catered parties all over this country and all over the world, from Singapore, Australia to Central Park in New York, but many people don't realize how much we do locally. For holiday events, office parties, tailgating, birthday parties, you can't do better than the Rendezvous. For example, you can get a cheese and sausage tray for 15 to 300 people for $3.75 a person. You can even build your own nacho bar for $10.50 per person. All you need is a minimum of 15 people. In many cases, we can arrange delivery and full-service catering. We've even made it easy to get to-go items. You can just park at our front door in the alley, put on your flashes, and we'll get you going ASAP. For all your catering items and prices, go to hogsfly.com, click on menu, and drop down to catering.
Thank you, John. The Rendezvous, Mr. Charlie Burgos' Rendezvous in the Alley since 1948 and celebrating its 75th year.
For a championship team, every player needs to be a perfect fit. Just like your vehicle, every part needs to fit just right. With eBay Guaranteed Fit, you can be sure every part you need fits right the first time. Just look for the green check. With over 122 million parts, you'll be back in the game in no time. Get the right parts, the right fit, and the right prices at ebaymotors.com. Let's ride. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
The Angie's List you know and trust is now Angie, and we're so much more than just a list. We still connect you with top local pros and show you ratings and reviews, but now we also let you compare upfront prices on hundreds of projects and book a service instantly. We can even handle the rest of your project from start to finish. So remember, Angie's List is now Angie, and we're here to get your job done right. Get started at Angie.com. That's ANGI, or download the app today.
The Dell Technologies Back to School event is on, with deals on top tech for class, hobbies, and more. Now, when you buy, you support a cause. With every eligible purchase, Dell will donate to UNICEF in support of GIGA, a UNICEF ITU global initiative to connect schools across the globe to the internet. Accidental damage protection included. Get rare deals on select laptops and desktops powered by the latest Intel Core processors. Save now at Dell.com/deals. UNICEF does not endorse any company, brand, product, or service.
Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company, we have it all. From handmade Amish leather belts, fine and casual clothing, boots, casual boots, work boots, fancy boots, and even safety-toed boots. Lots of cowboy hats to choose from, even Nebo lights, good-looking duck head dress shirts, duck head caps, shorts, and pants. Tons of jeans from Ariat, Wrangler, Devil Dog, and Kimes Ranch jeans. At Hewlett & Dunn, we have a great selection of Old South T-shirts and caps. Fine clothing from dress to casual to Sunday best. Enjoy choosing from UFO's orthopedic-approved shoes. Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company. Boots of every size, every color, every skin. Great quality Western, work, and safety toe boots. Hewlett & Dunn Boots and Clothing Company. 111 North Center Street, Collierville. Hewlett & Dunn. Hewlett & Dunn, serving you and your family since 1961.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Sports Time, Bryant Dacus and Jay Morgan with you. We're going to talk baseball here. But I'm really proud of myself.
Tell people what you just did.
So Jay Morgan.
So I'll just tell people. I don't know why.
Please.
I do that a lot. Don't I? I'm like, hey, tell people what's going on, and then I can talk.
It's your narcissistic nature.
I love myself. That's true.
You love hearing yourself. That's
I
for
sure
sure.
do. I'm in a good job for that, aren't I? No. So I brought in today. I've been trying some of these Whole Foods pressed juices. I don't know if people go to Whole Foods. It's kind of a bougie place, but they have really good.
Expensive.
They have really good fruit, like a really good assortment of fruit and stuff. So like I went and got a mango there the other day. I love mangoes. You ever had a mango? You like fruit, don't you?
Yeah, I like fruit. I don't know if I've ever had a mango though, but I really do
Mangoes
like fruit.
are delicious.
I love fruit.
Also had a grapefruit that was really good from there. So good stuff. This I had, there was a cold pressed juice, and this one is called Green Lemonade. So it consists of apples, cucumbers, spinach, kale, and lemons. And I've had a few of these. This one, obviously, if you put green stuff in it, like a smoothie or something, it turns green. So it's all green here.
Like cute green.
And
almost.
Bryant doesn't eat vegetables or anything green. But I told him when I took a sip of this, because I tried it for the first time, I was like, oh man, that's really. I did not expect it to be this sweet. I expected it to just be not gross, but like
bland.
Knowing I'm drinking something kind of healthy. But the apples, cucumbers, and lemons make this thing super sweet.
Yeah.
And I took a sip of it. I was like, Brian, you have got to try this. He's like, I'm good, man. I won't do it. I was like, no, you really have to do it. And so I poured a little bit in a styrofoam cup, and you took a sip. And what's your verdict?
It really wasn't that bad.
You really taste. That's what like cucumber. It tastes like cucumbers, and then the aftertaste is very appley. I taste a lot of apple.
So when I was I don't like green things. Like I don't like green vegetables.
The look of green turns you off.
Very traumatic experience when I was a kid. Really turned me off of green vegetables. And so in college, the only other time I've drinking anything green like that, when I was in college, we were in a class where we were like taking photo, like we were learning how to use cameras and stuff because it was obviously the journalism department. We were learning how to take photos and work video cameras and stuff. So we were just walking around campus trying to take pictures of things that were going on campus. And they had like this, like the University of Memphis like health department or something like this had this like stand up where they were making people smoothies for like $2, and it was like peanut butter and like spinach.
So it just tastes like peanut butter then.
Yeah, and so I was.
You put peanut butter in a smoothie,
like,
it just tastes like straight peanut butter.
They were like, we should get some. And I had a buddy in the class who knew I did not like green vegetables, and so of course he was like, "Oh, Brian's not going to go for that. He doesn't like green things." And so of course immediately everyone was like, "Brian, you've got to drink it. You've got to drink it." And I'm not.
Did anyone tell you what I just said?
That it was like super sweet? Or?
No. It's just going to taste like peanut butter.
Yeah, that's what they eventually said.
They're like, dude, you're not going to taste the green stuff. It's just going to taste like peanut butter.
So I eventually gave in to the peer pressure, which I don't usually do. I'm usually very good with peer pressure.
And
it was actually really good.
It tasted like?
Tasted like peanut butter.
Just tasted like peanut butter.
And I felt really good about myself afterwards, like I do now. Like I feel healthy now after
just one little sip.
After my breakfast this morning consisted of
Reese's Pieces.
Reese's Pieces and a coffee. So with a bunch of sugar in it. So
well, I mean, you put apples, cucumbers, lemons. This probably has a lot of suger in it.
I love apples,
but it's natural
and
sugar.
lemons. So
this has 10 grams of sugar, but no added sugar.
No, that was good. Like I told my girlfriend about it. I'm sure she's very excited. I might go get one of those for another day.
I don't really shop at Whole Foods, but they got fruit, and I like fruit. They also have these little seaweed snacks that are really good. They taste like potato chips.
My girlfriend shops at Trader Joe's a lot. Those are very similar, aren't they?
Trader Joe's I think is pretty cheap sometimes.
Oh,
like
really?
I used to go to Trader Joe's in college if I wanted like off-brand really cheap things.
Yeah.
But I've also heard Trader Joe's has very expensive things.
I thought
so
it was
could go
more
either way.
expensive than cheap. But I have no idea. She shops there.
Maybe it's cheap compared to Publix.
Maybe. I don't know. She had some.
We're getting to Publix. I can't wait till we get to Publix.
What is Publix?
Publix is a grocery store. They're in Florida, so like you go to the beach, you'll go there. They're in Alabama a lot too. I'm sure they're in Mississippi.
Interesting.
And stuff like that. They might be other places as well, but it's like it's just a regular grocery store, but it's fairly clean, and they have a really good every store has like a little like restaurant area. Kind of like a generic grocery store restaurant, but they have different stations, and they make a really good. Everyone raves about the subs. The pub sub is really good, and they have a bunch of different kinds, and you can make your own too.
Is it public? There was one grocery store that like started serving like you go and like get like tap beer or something like that. That was either like a Trader Joe's or Publix or something.
I don't know if that was Publix or not. Publix also is famous for having a giant scale that people will weigh themselves on in the entrance.
What?
I think it's more for your groceries, like weighing groceries and stuff like that,
or
weighing something
big
else.
Enough for you to
it's
get in?
giant. It's a giant scale. Yeah, it's the entrance of every Publix.
Interesting. I'm learning new things about Publix. Interesting. Huh. Well, baseball going on.
I love going to the grocery store, man. I really do.
I really don't.
Do you not? It's like meditative almost, like cathartic to walk through a grocery store.
I would think that's probably not the consensus, because I know a lot of people dread going to the grocery store because of how many people are there and how chaotic and hectic
that's what I was about to say, is if you go in like a popular time, then the experience is miserable. But
I like going late at night.
That's what I was about to say. If you go like on a night or something like that.
Except now Kroger, they'll start restocking like at night, like at 9 o'clock, and so people are just all over the place, and like big boxes and stuff are in your way. So it's not great.
Yeah, if you go to the grocery store at not a super popular time and just start strolling through the aisles, that's a fun experience, man. Meditative, like I said.
Have you ever been?
I go through every aisle. I'm just walking up and down,
man. Up and down.
I love looking at the products.
Interesting.
Aisle I always stop on and linger, cereal. I love.
Oh, there's so many different types of cereal
now.
Man,
it's great. And looking through all the ones that you used to love as a kid, or you used to see advertised as a kid or something like that. Like, you got to stop at all the super sugary ones, like Reese's Puffs.
They had a Kit Kat cereal.
I literally just saw that. It had Oreos, Reese's Puff cereal, which they've always had, Oreo-O's, Reese's Puffs, and now they have Kit Kat cereal. And the person I was with was like, that's gross. Like, I can't believe that. And they just got done talking about how much they love Reese's Puffs and Oreo-O's.
Same thing.
I'm like, it's the same thing. What's the difference? It's all just candy cereal.
Yeah.
Cookie Crisp, that's another one.
Oh, Cookie Crisp. I always loved Cookie Crisp as a kid.
I tell you what, and I was looking at, like, obviously it's different kinds of calories, but, like, even comparing, like, Cheerios to, like, the Reese's Puffs and stuff that, there's different sugar contents, but it's not the sugar that increases or decreases the calories in cereal. Pretty much a bowl of cereal is the amount of calories it is. So you get Kix, you get Life cereal, you get you get Cheerios. It's essentially the exact same calorie count per bowl of cereal as Reese's Puffs and stuff like that. The exception being different amounts of sugar intake, which is just significant.
One cereal that I really liked as a kid and now I can't stand, Lucky Charms.
You can't stand Lucky Charms?
I do not like Lucky Charms.
Oh, man.
The marshmallows.
They sell just marshmallows now.
I think the marshmallows are I used to love them. I used to get them and literally, like, if I was I love marshmallows. My favorite dessert in life is a s'more. Give me a fire, a bonfire, a stick, and a marshmallow, and I'll have the time of my life. Well, graham crackers, chocolate, all that other stuff. But I mean, even I'll eat a toasted marshmallow off a stick and call that dessert. I love marshmallows.
Me too. I love marshmallows.
And as a kid, I would get the Lucky Charms and just eat the marshmallows. But now
I'll still do it.
I think they're gross now. I think they're nasty.
I love them.
Interesting.
Still to this day, love
I thought
Lucky
we were gonna be on the same page on that.
No way. Love Lucky Charms marshmallows.
Wow.
Still to this day, could eat them by themselves. I'll buy a box, and the last thing to go will be the cereal pieces.
By the way, you just said now they make boxes that are just...
No, not boxes. They make, like, it's like in the candy aisle with, like, other stuff. It's like just a pack of Lucky Charms marshmallows or something like that. Not candy aisle. Maybe it is the candy aisle. Or maybe it's in, like, the snack aisle where you would get, like, the Oreos and stuff like that. I don't know.
One time when I was working...
That's cookies, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't know where it would be, but I've seen
Wherever they keep the marshmallows, I'm sure it's right around there.
I'm trying to think of another aisle I linger on. Chips you always linger on.
When I worked at Stony River,
Crackers.
I was a server's assistant, and whenever we'd run out of things, they would like send a server's assistant to like, hey, run to Kroger and get us. We need more like apples, or they didn't have apples, but like we need more.
Is a server's assistant a busboy, but they don't call you busboys
Glorified
anymore?
busboy, yeah. It's fine dining, so they don't really say busboy. But yeah, that's what I was.
You were a busboy,
and was paid pretty good money. And so one time they were like, hey, run to Kroger, get this and that. I was like, okay, cool. So I go to Kroger. I'm in Kroger. My attire was like a black button-down shirt and black pants, all black. I'm in the store looking for this thing.
Sounds like a restaurant.
I had 2 different people come up to me and ask me where things were located because they thought I worked there.
Just because you had all black on.
I don't know.
You look like you were at work, probably.
Yeah, but I mean, I've never seen anybody at Kroger in a button-down dress shirt and button-down pants.
You're right, but you don't look like you're just wandering around shopping either. So that's probably the
maybe you're right. I was so confused. I was like, why do people keep coming up to me asking me where things are? And I used to work at Kroger, so I knew. So I'd be like, yeah,
What did you do at Kroger, bag boy?
No, I was cashier. Went in to be the bag boy. They said you're too qualified to be a bag boy, cashier.
Cashing it. Do you like being a cashier?
They just needed a cashier. No, it was miserable. I hated
Why is that?
Because like you said, you love going to the grocery. When I worked there, most people hated going to the grocery store. So I am a very
you're
talkative.
Working busy hours.
Yeah,
and people are pissed.
I'm very talkative. Like I'm a very friendly
You didn't
person.
have vitamins.
Right.
I needed vitamins.
So I'm like,
the hell's your problem?
Someone comes up. I'm like, good afternoon. How are you today?
Well, you didn't have vitamins.
Exactly. And then I'm like, I'm so sorry. And then she's like, why don't y'all have vitamins? And I'm like, I'm just cashier. I have no idea.
I don't know where the vitamins are. Can we get a vitamin check on wherever the hell vitamins are, please?
Yeah. And it's all high schoolers that work there. I was a high schooler at the time, but it was like freshman and sophomore working there, and so
how old were you? An older high schooler?
I was a senior. It was my first job, but I played football in high school. So I didn't have a job, and so then when football ended,
football was your job.
Football was my job.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
that's why you got your Michael Parsons jersey on today.
Clapping and let's go team, let's go boys.
Hey, if you don't buy
into, need a water bottle? Here you go.
If you don't buy into your role, how can you expect anybody else to buy into their role?
It starts at the bottom level.
It very much does.
A lot of people say it starts at the top, starts at the
bottom. I know
I
sound sarcastic, but that's 100% true, even in high school.
Funny story. So a couple weeks ago when we were at the golf tournament, we were talking to John Varlas, and he came to the table. So we're talking before the segment starts. He goes, Brian, I've never asked you, where'd you go to high school? And I said, I went to Houston. And he goes, oh, very cool. And so he started asking me, did you know so-and-so who played football? And I said, yeah. I said, I played football with him in high school.
I don't remember seeing you.
And he goes, you played football at Houston? I go, sure did, John. I said, the problem was you were interviewing all the people actually on the field.
Yeah. And I
was on the sideline. I was cheering all the boys on. Let's go, boys.
So you used to be a busboy.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
So you have lots of interactions with the kitchen and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
I bet
free food all the time. Oh, man.
I would love to hear your stories about being in the kitchen. I've read Gordon Ramsay.
I love Gordon Ramsay.
Anthony Bourdain's book, Kitchen, what's it called? Kitchen Confessional, Kitchen Nightmares?
I haven't heard of this book.
You know who Anthony Bourdain is. Passed away now. He had the popular show,
of course.
I can't even remember the name of the show. Not No Reservations. That's his other show. Parts Unknown.
Parts Unknown.
But he was a chef in New York.
Sure.
And he wrote a book about his life because he was unhappy with the way people like Bobby Flay and others on the Food Network were portraying what the life in the kitchen was like, because it was a lot of yelling, cursing, drugs, drinking.
Sure.
It was a cutthroat environment, not the way it's necessarily portrayed on the Food Network all the time, especially in the early vestiges of the Food Network. So I bet you've got a lot of crazy stories from going from the kitchen.
But both the kitchen and the servers. We had some wild servers too.
Is that right?
Oh, absolutely.
Wow.
Great establishment. Not a lot of them are there anymore.
Chefs getting after it.
Woo.
Were they saying yes, chef to each other? Not that fancy establishment.
No.
Because, if anyone's seen The Bear, that's one of the big things in The Bear. They go, yes, chef.
Yeah, no.
Yes, chef.
I mean, they would call the head chef, and they would say yes, chef a lot, but it wasn't very almost like military type of deal. It was just like
that's the way
chef.
It's described in Anthony Bourdain's book. It's very much like a military environment.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, it wasn't that to a sense, but it was interesting. I got plenty of stories from Stony River.
Next time I get to host a show, I'm gonna have a whole segment that's just interviewing you about kitchen stuff. I'll find some kitchen music. It'll be fully produced.
All right. Well, let's go to a break. When we come back, it'll be time for Big Number of the Day.
Start your day with Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10, right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
You or someone you know or care about has dealt with a difficult divorce. When facing divorce, you need the attorneys at Rice Law. Nick and Larry Rice lead the firm with 3 generations and 7 decades of experience. Located in Memphis, serving the entire state of Tennessee and North Mississippi. Rice Law is who you need to call. Simple or difficult divorce, they know how to handle it. Call Rice Law at 901-526-6701, or for more information, visit them at aboutdivorce.com. That's aboutdivorce.com.
Did you know that driving under the influence of marijuana is illegal? Driving high will get you a DUI. And if you're wondering if law enforcement can tell you're driving high, well, everyone else can. Friends?
I can tell you drove high.
Parents?
I can tell when you drive high.
Relatives?
I can tell. You drove here high, didn't you?
So what makes you think law enforcement can't?
I can tell.
If you feel different, you drive different. Drive high, get a DUI. Paid for by NHTSA.
All 650 acquisition fee, 30,000 miles, 20 cents excess mileage, Forte PE 659,993, MSRP 22,540, Nero P 501,5237, MSRP 41,390, EV6 P 560,3393, MSRP 50,200, includes all rebates and incentives, must finance through Hyundai, excludes tax title and license with approved credit. See dealer for details, offer valid through 9/5/23. Dealer stock only, warranties a limited powertrain warranty. See Kia.com or retailer for details.
I got Jeff Allen on the line. Hey, what's the scoop over there at Gossett Kia South Mount Moriah?
Randy, we got deals everyone wants. How about 41 MPG Highway, 2023 Kia Forte LXS, $249 a month, $29.99 due at signing.
Hey, Jeff, give me some EV scoop.
2023 Nero EV Win, 253 miles of EPA estimated range, $292 a month. And a 2023 Kia EV6 Win with up to 134 city, 101 highway MPGE. Only $425 a month, both $49.99 due at signing, all 36-month lease.
And Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty to boot.
So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia on Mount Moriah.
2680 Mount Moriah or KiaMountMoriah.com.
Barden Stone has been serving the Mid-South area for over 3 generations. What sets them apart and makes them unique? Landscape Stone Center? They have one of the largest selections with a wide variety of colors and sizes, all the way from cobblestones to garden rock and pebbles from ground cover. Plus fieldstone and flagstone, stepping stones and stacking stones, even landscape boulders. In addition to a wide variety of stones and rocks, Barden Stone staff is very knowledgeable. Whether you're a homeowner, contractor, or design professional, Barden Stone can answer any question pertaining to the use of stones from A to Z. Barden Stone, they know stone inside and out. Barden Stone, 1 mile south of Park at 1557 Cherry Road. Barden Stone, open for you Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Saturday, 8 a.m. to 12 noon. Call 901-683-8264 and visit Barden Stone.
Hotsy Pressure Washers and Detail Supplies of Memphis takes it all off. They are the #1 cleaning and equipment provider, period. Big or small, Hotsy has the solution. From hot water and cold water pressure washers to industrial soaps and detail supplies, Hotsy has you covered. For our Sports 56 fans, you get 20% off all detail products, so don't miss out on this amazing deal. Call Hotsy today, 901-379-0550, or visit their showroom, conveniently located at Austin P and I-40.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Two great locations for the commissary, the new Collierville Commissary at Houston Levy and Poplar, or the original in Germantown where it all began for Walker Taylor and his great team in 1981. The Collierville location, perfect for a big group, plenty of room to spread out. And when the weather is nice, to get out on the patio. Memphis-style barbecue and ribs that scream the Memphis slow-cooked way, the Memphis style. Begin your barbecue feast with the great appetizers like the cheese plate or the tamales, the smoked chicken wings, or the barbecue nachos, invented at the Germantown Commissary in the early 80s. If you're craving an easier way to order, text commissary to 33733. Dig into the ribs or the shoulder, chopped or pulled on a plate, on a sandwich. All the sides, beans, slaw, deviled eggs, bread as well. You can order it by the pound or a 6-pack. or an 8-pack or a 12-pack, and the salads and the chicken plate and those wonderful, as I mentioned, hot tamales dressed with chili cheese and fresh onions, and the desserts like the lemon icebox pie, the banana pudding, and the strawberry cake. 901-754-5540. Online at commissarybbq.com in Collierville and Germantown. Those great party areas, orders to go, catering, and tailgating season on the way. 901-754-5540 or online at commissarybbq.com.
Big Daddy.
Hello, Big Brand. It's a guy, he wants to be big, then he gets big, he doesn't want to be big anymore, then he gets small, but the suit's too big.
Big Daddy.
The big boy.
You're a big guy. I think she's trying to pull a fast one on Big Daddy.
The big number of the day. Brian, we used up all our time for big number playing sounds on the computer.
Oh, that's too bad.
No, we didn't actually.
No, we didn't. I'm really excited about my big number. I saw this last night. I've been waiting all day to talk about this big number.
Is that right?
It's right.
Or are you just putting on for the radio?
No, I'm not. I really am excited about this because I think this is a great big number. My big number today.
I think you should go first today, Brian.
The number 96. Last night, I started looking at the game notes for Week 0 action, seeing if I could, find anything of interest in some of these games, and I found it in the first game notes I took a look at. It was Navy's game notes because they kick off the season this year in Dublin, Ireland against Notre Dame. So 96 on Saturday, Navy and Notre Dame will kick off the season in Dublin, Ireland. It will be the 96th meeting between these two schools. That's a lot of meetings. 96, close to 100. But the real kicker, they have never once played at Navy Marine Corps Memorial Stadium in Annapolis, where Navy has called its home for over 6 decades. They've played 96 times. This will be 96 in Dublin, Ireland this year. Not once have they played in Annapolis, Maryland. That's crazy.
That is crazy.
They're supposed to play there in 2020 during the COVID year.
That's not crazy, though.
Why not?
Because it's Notre Dame.
Okay, and you can't. You're telling me in 96 times playing, not once you could go to Navy?
Well, think about how many times Alabama has played opponents where that same thing is probably true.
Yeah, but I think if you look at...
And this is Notre Dame.
I know, but wow. That surprised me.
You didn't have a comeback for that one. That was a good point.
It's a good point, but you're telling me in 96 times, not once you can go to the Naval?
No, 96 is a lot. I have no really reference for what other schools might be there. It just seems like it's kind of fairly understandable.
I don't know.
I see how they got there. How about this?
Tell me.
The Yankees yesterday, the only team, actually this might be 2 days ago. Either way, it's still interesting. It happened at some point. Let's think. No, it was yesterday. 19 hours ago from now would be after the game was played, right?
I guess so.
Anyway, interesting stat. The Yankees are the only MLB team in the modern era to have a player who entered the game with a sub-100 batting average. His name is Ben Rotvet.
Okay.
I guess he's a late call-up. Mm-hmm. So entered the game with a sub-100 batting average, go 2 for 2 or better, and the rest of the team go hitless. This is true using the lowest possible minimum, being 1 at-bat in his career entering in the game.
Wow.
That's crazy!
That was definitely last night because they got 2 hit by the Nationals. They lost to the Nationals
and
last
both
night.
was a guy that was sub-100. Ben Rotvet.
Can I have another big number?
I think we need to be in awe of this one more. This is like
crazy.
a scorigami for a statistic.
Honestly, it really is.
Nothing like this has ever happened before. It's wild.
And tell me when it happens again.
It never will.
It never
That's
will
so
happen
obscure, it's crazy.
You're right. That might be the best big number
what would even be the big number? I just thought it was
2. He had 2 hits.
2 and 0.
2 ends, yeah, sure, why not?
And sub 100.
1, yeah. No, that's unbelievable. I guess another big number you can make it 9. 9 straight losses for the Yankees.
Yeah, that's true. And that big number is right on line there. Did the Mariners win today?
No. Went to extra innings. They clawed their way back. They were down 3-0, went up 4-3, and then tied it, had to go to extras, lost 5-4.
No longer the hottest team in baseball.
No longer the hottest team in baseball, but that's all right.
It's all right.
It's all right. with what they've done the past 2 weeks, they've made up for a lot of troubles.
Yeah, but you like to be playing that quality of baseball going into the playoffs.
Well, hey, maybe they just needed a loss here because they're not going to lose again. They needed that one loss so they can get right back on track.
Perhaps.
Let's wrap up our second hour. When we come back, we're going to talk a lot about the Tennessee Vols and the SEC. Vince Ferrara from 99.1, the sports animal in Knoxville. He joins us next.
Homer Skelton Hyundai Genesis in Olive Branch has an offer you can't refuse. They will pay you to do business with them if you want luxury. And I'm talking the Genesis G70 car. If you would love to have that kind of new technology, they will give you a $1,000 rebate when you finance with Genesis Motor Finance. In other words, they'll pay you $1,000 to do business with them, and you get brand new luxury. You can't beat it. That's Homer Skelton Hyundai Genesis, right at the corner of Craft Road and Highway 78 in Olive Branch. Homer Skelton Hyundai Genesis in Olive Branch, where customer retention is amazing. There's a reason. They take care of you with a team that's been together for a long time. Whether it's finance or whether it's service, you can't beat them. Homer Skelton Hyundai Genesis.
I have got an idea for a movie tie-in for Central Barbecue.
I don't like where this is going.
The Central Barbecue Oppenheimer Special. It's an explosion of flavor.
No.
So, Central Barbecue's ribs are the bomb?
No. Plus, Central Barbecue doesn't need that kind of promotion. Central Barbecue's food is the promotion.
Central Barbecue's hot sauce is
I'm telling you, Central Barbecue has always sold itself because you can't get better barbecue anywhere.
So it's the Oppenheimer thing. All right, well, how about you can't spell barbecue without Barbie?
But you can.
5-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. Roofing and siding, gutters too. We're the pros you can trust to get it done right. Call on us. 5-Ash Roofing, the name to know. 5-Ash Roofing, the only way to go. 5-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. 5-Ash Roofing.
Is that not the corniest thing you've ever heard? Can you believe I paid good money for that silly jingle? Well, the experts say make it memorable, and I think I got my money's worth. 5-Ash Roof Services, proud partner of the Memphis Tigers and the official roofer of the Tigers home team. 5-Ash Roofing, 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
5-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Say there was a place, the perfect place for everything you need for tailgates and patios. Grills and chairs, charcoal and coolers. Everything to make a great game or a great day. That perfect place wouldn't be a warehouse. It's East Memphis Ace Hardware. Locally owned and operated at Quince and White Station, East Memphis Ace Hardware is where you'll find Benjamin Moore paints, local plants from local growers, and Black & Decker tools. Around the block, what you need in stock with people who know their tailgates. Welcome to East Memphis Ace Hardware, the home convenience store.
At Jason's Deli, when you're dining in or picking up curbside, you can expect wholesome food and no surprises, just delicious sandwiches, crisp salads, and quick quality meals made with the freshest ingredients and no artificial trans fats, MSG, high fructose corn syrup, or artificial colors and dyes. Around here, a lot of thought goes into what we put into our food and what we take out of it, because you're not just taking a bite, you're getting a taste of who we are. New items are constantly being created to expand our menu for all tastes and special diets with vegan and gluten-free options available. Convenience and on-time delivery you can count on. It's just a click away at jasonsdeli.com, so whether you need to feed 5 people or 5,000, the team at Jason's Deli, they have the credentials and the commitment to keep you satisfied. Freshness is nearby at Jason's Deli with locations at Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, Poplar and Highland, Germantown Road in Cordova, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Jason's Deli. It's wholesome food and no surprises.
The Gossett Mitsubishi Summer Sales Event is still going strong at Gossett Mitsubishi on the Pike. Whatever vehicle needs you may be wishing for, we've got you covered at Gossett Mitsubishi. 41 MPG highway that can turn on a dime, that's 2023 Mitsubishi Mirage G4. $17,395 or $249 a month. 2024 Eclipse Cross combines luxurious styling with cutting-edge technology, generous cargo room, and versatility. $29,100 or $399 a month. And the powerful and fun to drive 2023 Mitsubishi Outlander. $29,580 or $499 a month. And you'll always get peace of mind with Mitsubishi's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. That's Gossett Mitsubishi, 1870 Covington Pike, or shop 24/7 at memphismitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 500 military rebate, G4 PH 006839, MSRP 17895, Cross RZ 00688, MSRP 29850, Outlander PZO 59809, MSRP 30080, includes all rebates and incentives, PF 695, excludes tax, title, and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through end of the month with approved credit, dealer stock only.
Ole Miss Rebel Yell is back. The Rebel Yell Hotline Radio Show is back on WHBQ Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Every Monday night at 6, hear the latest news on your Ole Miss Rebels with Yancey Porter with 24/7 Sports, former Ole Miss defensive tackle Mike Fitzsimmons, Gordon Ford covering SEC Sports Call, and former Ole Miss baseball announcer Gary Darby. From kickoff to free throw to extra innings, your Ole Miss Sports on the Rebel Yell Hotline Show right here Monday night at 6 on Sports 56, 560 AM and 98.5 FM, your Mid-South sports station.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253 DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Hewlett & Dunn, Boot and Jean Company in Collierville. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant Dacus and Jay Morgan Harder with you. And as we start our third and final hour today, joining us from 99.1 The Sports Animal in Knoxville to talk about the Volunteers and the SEC this year, Vince Ferrara joins us now. You can follow him on Twitter at Vince Sports. Vince, thanks for joining us, and obviously a lot of excitement with Week 1 right around the corner for Tennessee and the rest of the SEC teams. But, you know, something I've noticed, and me and Jay Morgan have talked about it a lot this week, it seems like there's been a lot of excitement about this Tennessee team this offseason, and I've started to see some people in the media put out their bowl projections for this year, and I assumed they would have Tennessee in a New Year's Six bowl game, but a lot of them have Tennessee right outside of those New Year's Six bowl games. So for you, when you look at this team, how well do you think they'll be, or how good do you think they'd be? How well do you think they'll contend in the SEC, and what do you see their record being at the end of the year?
Well, good to be on with you guys. Always nice to be on with you in Memphis. I think that Tennessee is right there on that 9-10 win range. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, if you have them at 10 wins, you're probably going to have them projected in a New Year's Six bowl. If you have them at 9, you're going to have them just on the outside, and seemingly everybody's got them paired up with Wisconsin.
Yeah.
So that's the reason why there's those projections at either or. I personally have them at 10 wins, and for some, that's a little too high in terms of wins, even with Vol fans. Like, I hear some Vol fans that are more cautious about this year's team. Now, some are crazy excited. They think the defense is going to make a step. They really like Joe Milton, and they're thinking college football playoff. But this is a year where I can't poo-poo those people that feel that way, because they're not that far off of that. Teams that are in that 9-10 projected win total going into a year, they make it to the college football playoff. So Tennessee's had so many tough years where it's unrealistic to think that they could even contend for a New Year's Six bowl. You shoot those downs and those things down in years past. Not this year, because they're still going to be very good, in my opinion. So I have them at 10 wins, and a big part of that is I have belief in Joe Milton. Mm-hmm. Some fans, though, are still taking a wait and see on him.
That's so two things there. That's great, Vince. My first question for you is going to be what do you think is more likely this season, 10 or 8 wins? It sounds like you've firmly planted on 10 there. So I'll ask you about Joe Milton. You just said you feel confident in his ability this year. That's another big question mark some people have. What is the biggest indicator for you that gives you confidence in Joe Milton going into the season? What would you tell people that might be a little bit skeptical based on what they've seen of him in the past?
It's a great question, and it's an important question because he is the biggest key for them to have success this year. If they don't have that position right, then the defense isn't going to matter, and the defense is ultra important. I think where the defense comes into play and its importance is to do bigger things and contend for the East or the college football playoff if the defense makes a jump. But back to Joe, I'm a believer in him because he's a different quarterback and a different person than he was 2 years ago. And in talking to a lot of fans, that's where I think they have some hesitation, some pause, is they can't erase what they saw from him 2 years ago, where he got hurt in that Pitt game and then never got his job back. And Hendon Hooker played so well, he never gave it back. And then he, in that game and in the first game, he overthrew so many receivers deep that were would-be touchdowns. When he played late in the Ole Miss game as well a couple of years ago, ran out of bounds and late in the game, and it was a big mistake that didn't give him a chance to try to run another play. So I think fans, some of them, have not been able to flush what he was 2 years ago, and he is a much different quarterback. And I try to tell people, not just for Joe Milton, but just for athletes, heck, for human beings. Like, when you see someone on the field, on whatever playing surface, or honestly in life, they're not a finished product forever, right? Everybody can develop, especially when they're young players, they're being coached, they're in a new system. Joe Milton has gone through so much since that time. He hit rock bottom because when he lost his job, he admitted to our station at SEC Football Media Days that he lost his confidence and he wondered if football was for him and if he should go back home and to Florida. And then after a week of beating himself up, he had teammates put their arm around him. He looked in the mirror and regained his confidence. And he has been a leader, and he has been a tremendously improved quarterback. On the field, his accuracy with the deep ball has improved. This year, he needed to take the next step by having an off-speed pitch, so to speak, where he's not throwing it at top velocity in those short and underneath routes. We've seen a lot of improvement in that. His leadership, his understanding of the offense, and now being in the system a couple of years. I think his relationship with new offensive coordinator Joey Halsley is so healthy because Halsley is really encouraging. He's a teacher. He was key in getting Hendon Hooker to relax more and not be so serious. Halsley was. Well, Joe Milton helped Hendon Hooker with that along the way because those two became best friends. And Milton is all about having fun, but still being about business. He holds his teammates accountable. Everybody believes in him. The coaching staff believes in him. He's got the best arm in college football. Now, will some of those things revert back when you get into the pressure situations in the SEC? We'll ultimately find that out, but I think he's got enough talent in himself, the new Joe Milton, and around him, that I think he's going to be outstanding, even if he's not the Heisman Trophy winner. And for them to be good, he doesn't have to be.
Yeah. Well, Vince, I've heard you a couple of times since we started talking to you bring up the defense. So for this defense, bringing back a good amount of starters from last year's team, who are some players or maybe even some position groups that you think need to have a big year for this group to be successful?
Well, certainly the pass defense has to be much better. They were banged up last year. They weren't very good at all overall. Now, they had some games where the defense was pretty good. I mean, the LSU game was one that they were outstanding. It's an underrated part of that game. The LSU game to close out the season in the Orange Bowl, defense played terrific. So they had some good games along the way. It's just when things went bad, they went horrifically bad. And not every time could the offense bail them out like they did in the Alabama and Florida game. So pass defense needs to be much better. One, they're healthier. Two, they're very experienced. They have 20 scholarship DBs. 9 of them are either seniors or redshirt seniors. So they do have a transfer in Gabe Jeudy-Lally that came in from BYU, played at Vanderbilt for a while. And so I think they should be a little bit better. What concerns me still a little bit about that group is I don't know that there's been anyone elevate themselves to a big-time, like, first, second, third team all-SEC type of defensive back to this point. And then another thing that would help them is if they get more pressure on the quarterback than they did a year ago. That's going to help them in a lot of ways. One, just naturally you don't have to cover as long when you're getting to the QB. The other thing is that they've been talking a lot in camp about getting home to the quarterback and affecting the QB with their front four. They were not able to do that enough last year. So then what happens is defensive coordinator Tim Banks has to send blitzes all the time to try to affect the quarterback in the opposing offense. They don't want to have to do that all the time. And I think that will help them in coverage by not giving quarterbacks those seams, those holes in the defense, because you can keep some guys back in coverage and get home with your front four. The promising thing about that is I think they've developed really good depth at defensive tackle inside. Omar Norman-Lott's a transfer from Arizona State. He's been highly praised by Rodney Garner, who doesn't throw around compliments to guys if he doesn't have to, and he doesn't have to do anything because he's a vet that's seen it all. And his teammates talk a lot about how explosive he is, pushes the pocket, already knows the defense really well. It seems like he's been a great addition to go along with Omari Thomas, who I think is going to be a all-SEC caliber defensive tackle at the end of the year. They have 4 other guys that they could roll through just in those 2 defensive tackle spots. That's a really good rotation that not everybody has. They have an experienced end in Tyler Barron that has NFL abilities if he has a breakout year. And then the other thing is their Leo spot, and that's the outside rush position. Those guys, they have really talented guys there, but are they ready as real twitchy, long-armed, great body guys? Are they ready to take that step and be game changers? That's what they need. Guys that can get them off the field on third down, get them a turnover. If they do that, they can help the back end, which is the biggest question. So there's been some positives and there's been some other things. Well, just going to take a little bit of a wait and see.
Vince, I'll tell you what, you're teeing me up perfectly with the way you're finishing your answers to the next question I'm going to ask. It's really excellent right now because I was just about to ask you about NFL draft prospects on this team, and you mentioned some guys that have the intangibles to be prospects, need to make that next step. Who has the best combination of both? Who are like 2 or 3 guys that are the best combination of incredible pro prospect and are going to make impact plays on a week-in, week-out basis on this team?
Well, honestly, you got to hop back over to the offense because nobody, I think, has the upside with a big year more so than Joe Milton. If he has a big year, although he's older than Anthony Richardson, we've already seen a lot of those comparisons in terms of body, athleticism, arm strength. He's got a stronger arm than Anthony Richardson. I think he's got a stronger arm than anyone in the NFL or college football right now. That's how ridiculous it is. That guy can easily throw the ball 90 yards and maybe even more if he really pushed it, which he doesn't, and his coaches don't want him to. That's how incredible that arm strength is. But he's got to have a productive year. He's got to show that he can run through progressions. He's got to show mobility and decision-making in the pocket. So there's still some things he has to put on tape. But he's got that potential to be a first-round pick with a big year. After that, I think it's wide receiver with Brew McCoy. Brew McCoy could be that next guy in line after Tillman and Hyatt with those breakout years at wide receiver. I think he is poised now that he's healthy, knows the system a second year, the former USC 5-star. I think he can be that next guy with an NFL body that another good year could be a top 3-round pick. And then, after that, Dante Thornton, who is a transfer from Oregon, 6'5", he said he ran he ran 24.3 miles per hour at Oregon. That's faster than Tyreek Hill.
Wow.
So if he has a big year, I think that he's a third-year guy. I think you could see him take off early for the NFL. I would start with those guys. A couple of offensive linemen, Omari Thomas on defense, Aaron Beasley, potential linebacker on defense. So there's guys that I think will be drafted, but the highest upside is on Joe Milton right now, unless someone just has an incredible special year that maybe we aren't projecting that's eligible for next year's draft. Down the road, Nico Iamaleava, the backup 5-star quarterback, would be the answer.
Sure. When you bring up Nico, obviously, Joe Milton's the guy this year, but what have you seen, what have you heard about the freshman as he gets ready for his first fall?
He's been so impressive. It's the crazy thing is that Tennessee had so many guys that were around for bowl practices. They had 16 players that were at bowl practice.
Wow.
So think about that. Remember, spring ball used to be where, they're getting a jump start on everybody else. Now, a bunch of guys are getting a jump start on the guys that used to get a jump start.
It's crazy.
They only had a handful of guys that even came in the summer. So Nico's been around a lot. Josh Heupel just said the other day that Nico is an incredibly different quarterback now than he was just in the spring. So the word humble comes up with him a lot, which you don't think of when you think of the face of NIL. As a 5-star and all the height, but he's got a tremendous arm. He's been described by one former Vol that's my broadcast partner for high school football, Jay Graham. He's seen him practice and in team settings because those former players get to be there for all of it. We don't. And he describes him as special and with his talent in the future. Josh Heupel and Joey Halsley and his teammates, they all say they believe in him. If he has to go in a game, and he's the backup quarterback, if something happens to Milton, it's them. Yeah. I think he would function just fine. I think he's an incredible talent for down the road. I think they're in the best-case scenario, though, with him cleaning up games and then Joe Milton being the guy. That's the best-case scenario for Tennessee rather than rushing him. And him, he's still got to put on some weight because he is pretty slender, but I think the future is incredibly bright. He knows protections, which freshmen don't often do. Good leader, great chemistry with Joe Milton, just like Milton had with Hendon Hooker. Probably even better than they could have imagined at this stage in his college career.
Wow. I mean, Tennessee fans have got to feel good about what you've had with these three quarterbacks, Hendon Hooker, now Joe Milton, and what you could have with Nico. I mean, I don't know how you can't get excited when you hear about that. But we're talking to Vince Ferrara from 99.1, the Sports Animal in Knoxville. I want to ask you about a receiver. I've heard a lot of people rave about Squirrel White this offseason, the freshman from last year. Who got a lot of action, about 481 yards, 2 touchdowns at receiver. What do you think he can do this year in maybe a more expanded role in the offense?
I think he is. You'll see him a lot in the slot. I don't know if he starts snap one of game one. That could be Dante Thornton, the Oregon transfer, who's gotten some work there. I mean, think about what you typically see in slot guys. They're for a white size. I mean, you could have a 6'5" guy lining up at the slot.
That's
for Tennessee,
right.
And you will at times. But I think those two will split the load at the slot position with Thornton playing some on the outside. Great run after catch ability. Squirrel may be the fastest guy on the team. Scored a touchdown in the Orange Bowl from Milton. He worked a lot with Joe Milton last year when they were both second-team guys or both, scout teams. And so they have a really good chemistry. Thing is, Milton's developed a good chemistry with a lot of guys. There's a lot of competition in that wide receiver room. I know they lost Hyatt and Tillman to the NFL draft, and I think those guys are both going to be great pros. But I think this is a deeper wide receiver room. The biggest question is how many guys do they play? Typically, they don't play a lot of receivers. So it is a battle for playing time. And Ramel Keaton is another guy that doesn't get talked about a lot. He's going to get a lot of snaps and be a starter as well. So Squirrel's in a competition with those guys. There's a couple of second-year receivers that are on their tails as well for playing time, and then 2 other freshmen down the road. But Squirrel White his personality's come out more. He's actually taken more of a leadership role. Like, they make him available to us in the media last year, and we had a tough time getting 10-word answers out of him at any one time. I mean, he was just very quiet, come out of his shell a little bit. Josh Heupel, I think, or Halsey, one of the coaches, described him kind of as a stand-up comedian now. So you're feeling good about yourself in your football game and where you're at when you can start being a jokester and relaxing while still impressing your teammates and coaches and getting work done. So I expect him to have a big year, but not be the only one that does for those wide receivers.
Yeah. Well, Vince, this was a lot of fun. I know a lot of Tennessee fans extremely excited about that first game, Week 1, against Virginia in Nashville. But thanks so much for joining us, and let's do it again soon.
Thanks, Vince.
Yeah, anytime. I'll be in Nashville for the game, so you guys holler at me if you guys need anything.
Absolutely. Thanks, Vince. Vince Ferrara from 99.1, the sports animal in Knoxville, covering the Vols. And, I'll be honest.
GBO.
I'm not a huge Tennessee guy by any means, but I don't know how you don't get excited.
I'm honestly so back and forth. I was selling
hearing that.
I was selling so hard on the Vols after talking to David on Monday, and I'm like buying so much stock right now on the Vols after talking to Vince, because he made so many good points about why people are critical of Joe Milton and why it's not necessarily realistic based on the way a person develops over a college life. And man, that's a really good argument. I like that narrative a lot.
It is,
and it's making me buy back on the Vols. So we have to talk to David again. Maybe I'll sell again. We'll just see what happens.
We'll see what happens on Monday, and then you get David again on Tuesday with John. So you get 2 days to really decide which side of the fence you're on. But then that'll be Week 1, so you've got to make a decision one way or the other. You can't go into Week 1 on the fence.
Yeah, you can.
You can't.
You can not bet.
Oh, this is in terms of betting.
Well, I'm just saying that's one way to be on the fence, is to not play any action.
I guess that's true. It's very true. Let's go ahead, get to a break, and when we come back, we'll talk about what's trending.
Be sure to follow us at Sports56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube to watch live video of our shows, stay up to date with station events, and have chances to win prizes. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Follow us at Sports56 WHBQ.
My friends at Miramichi are always innovative. They've got a new thing going I think you're going to like. They have a staggered rate pertaining to what time of day it is. You can get a better price if you go in the later afternoon than you will in the morning or in the afternoon. From noon to 3, there is a $10 savings. There's about a $13 savings from 3 until close. You can't beat all of the innovations or the beauty at Miramichi. And folks are flocking. No longer can you get a membership. There's a waiting list, but that's how popular Miramichi has become. And why wouldn't it? You've got different levels of competition. You have 5 different tee boxes you can choose from ultra hard to ultra fun. The thing that's a constant is the beauty. The back 9 is like taking a walk through the woods with a meandering stream, and there's a waterfall you'll love. Everything about Miramichi is cool. Go check it out in Woodstock, 12 minutes north of downtown. It's Miramichi. Attention, everyone. Family Leisure needs your help clearing out their inventory. Let me say that again. Family Leisure is needing your help to clear out their inventory. And to do so, there are tons of great deals throughout the store. For example, all do-it-yourself pools are $1,000 off. Special 24-foot round pools for less than $2,000. Select play gyms, only $18.99. Hey, if you need patio furniture, they have patio furniture that's now up to 30% off. Spas are in stock. They're up to $1,200 off. Now listen up, because I'm only going to say this once. 24 months, same as cash financing, is now available through this sale. Family Leisure needs your help clearing out their inventory, so come and do your part at Family Leisure. Whitten Road and I-40, where family and fun come together.
From local town councils to Capitol Hill, agents who are realtors are standing up for what's right. We're here protecting property rights. Here advocating for the issues that affect our neighborhoods. Here championing fair and equitable housing for all. Because we are realtors, bound by a code of ethics, driven to serve our communities. We're here for it all. Here for you. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. That's who we are.
There's only one place for great steaks, real Italian cuisine, Southern-style meats, and fresh vegetables. It's Fratello's. Fratello's Italian Steakhouse in Hernando has a family feel and a fantastic menu. Voted DeSoto's best new restaurant in 2022, Fratello's has your favorite cuts of prime steak, lamb, and pork, along with delicious Italian dishes. And nothing is better for lunch than Southern-style meats and veggies. All your favorites and more are waiting for you at Fratello's Italian Steakhouse, Highway 51 in Hernando.
A new era in public safety begins with you. Be the change you want to see. Join us for the Memphis Police Department Hiring Expo, Saturday, August 26, 2023, from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. at 170 North Main Street downtown. We'll be taking applications, performing basic testing, and interviewing candidates on site. Free parking will be located at Poplar Avenue and Front Street. Salary starting at $60,700. Benefits include a $15,000 sign-on bonus, up to $10,000 relocation assistance. For more information or details, visit joinmpd.com.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Jean Company in Collierville. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
A little summer drive adventure is all yours in one of the hot new All-Star Chevys. Olive Branch is where all the Chevys are. Silverados for sure. They have financing as low as 1.9 on most of the new Silverados, and your good credit deserves it, and you'll get it at All-Star. Trail Boss, High Country, and you can see Kevin or Jeff to order any custom Silverado or any new Chevy you want. Drive one of these Tahoes or Equinox. That'll be a sweet last summer drive for any adventure. If you want a certified pre-owned Chevy or any pre-owned, All-Star's loaded up with Silverados, Corvette Stingrays. And if it's not at All-Star, just ask Jeff and he'll find it for you. And Jeff and Kevin told me to thank all of you. Brought your cars, your trucks, your SUVs to All-Star to sell. Thank you to everyone who've been bringing their cars and trucks down to All-Star to sell. You can even get a check for some crazy great cash today. Remember, it's not South Haven, not Mount Moriah or Bartlett or Collierville. It's got to be Olive Branch. Find new roads to All-Star Chevy today or go to allstarautogroup.com.
Welcome back into Sports Time. We got about 30 minutes left in today's show. And Jay Morgan, we talked a lot of football today. It's football season.
Yeah.
It's football time. But I'm really excited about a documentary coming out tonight on HBO. BS High. You familiar with this documentary coming out tonight?
Bishop Sycamore.
That
guy was on some drugs while he was getting interviewed, by the way.
Was he really?
It looked like it to me. You see the videos of that guy?
I've only seen like one, and it was like a month ago. I haven't seen anything recently.
I apologize for using young person vernacular, but he was tripping. I mean, like, that's the best way I could say to describe how he was acting.
He was tripping the entire time of Bishop Sycamore.
Yeah, but that in a different sense,
yes,
maybe.
in a different sense. No, I'm very excited. I kind of forgot it was coming out, and then when I was watching Hard Knocks earlier today, they had an ad before Hard Knocks started about it. It's coming out tonight at 8 o'clock. On HBO, and I mean, that's going to be appointment television for me. I can't wait.
Is that right? Appointment television.
I mean, from everything that happened with that Bishop Sycamore
BS High
situation and game and everything, I'm just so interested to see what happens. And it's being made by HBO, so it'll be a much better documentary than the Swamp Kings documentary that we got from Netflix, because they'll actually figure out what happened. They'll actually interview people and get real stories about what happened instead of just a fluff piece about Urban Meyer.
I mean, maybe. You haven't seen it.
I've heard what I've heard and what I've seen. It seems like it's going to be a good documentary.
We'll see.
We'll see tonight, 8 o'clock. I'm excited. You gonna watch it? Probably not.
Probably not.
I
might watch it at some point.
But
I'm not going to watch tonight. There's stuff live tonight I want to watch.
Well, that is live. Oh, you mean like games or something?
No. Big Brother on CBS at 7 o'clock tonight. I want to watch that.
So that's at 7. BS High is at 8.
AEW Dynamite on TBS starts at 7 o'clock and goes till 9.
Oh, I see.
So I'm going to have to start that at 8 after Big Brother, you see.
Start on delay.
And so then I'm going to be watching that. There's just no time for and it's bedtime. So there's really no time for BO time.
It's 8 o'clock already bedtime for you in some sense.
Oh, that's funny. I get it.
You didn't like that one?
No, I get it because I go to bed early like an old man.
Yeah.
That's funny.
We just talked Vols with Vince Ferraro, who was great joining, and I really appreciate him from the Sports Animal. I really appreciate him. It really is. I love that name. I really do appreciate him joining us and talking Vols this afternoon. But over on CBS, they put out their SEC predictions today. I thought this was good segue since we just talked about the Vols. They put out their SEC most overrated team, most underrated team. I only look at this because I'm curious of what David Cobb has to say. He has Kentucky being the most underrated team in the SEC. Thinks Kentucky is going to have a good year.
They do have a much easier schedule this year than they had last year, presumably, right? Because they played a lot of those games on the road.
Yeah, and their non-conference schedule is a cakewalk.
Is that right? Actually, are you just saying yes to
I'm looking at it right now.
They have a lot of home games.
All these schedules we have. Ball State at home, Eastern Kentucky at home, Akron at home. That's your first 3 games start the season. Then you go to Vanderbilt, home against Florida, at Georgia. Now, at Georgia is brutal.
Yeah, but you're going to lose that game either way. Who cares?
Missouri at home, Tennessee at home. That's great for them that they get Tennessee at home. At Mississippi State, home against Alabama, at South Carolina, and then you wrap up the season at Louisville. So yeah, that's a very favorable schedule for Kentucky, I think.
At Louisville's kind of tough, isn't it?
That's tough.
Is Louisville any good?
What
do we know about
Louisville? I really
Louisville?
don't know. I can go back.
But you throw the records out for a rivalry game.
It's a rivalry game.
You throw the records
so
out.
at Louisville, you give the advantage to Louisville because it's at Louisville.
And we're throwing the records out.
And we're throwing the records out. But in terms of SEC, I mean,
Speaking of Louisville, too. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Getting Tennessee, Alabama, Florida at home, yeah, that's huge. That's big.
Speaking of Louisville, too, I was thinking about this earlier. Now a coach at Texas A&M, offensive coordinator Bobby Petrino.
Yeah.
Is it not the greatest scenario ever that Texas A&M struggles? They fire Jimbo and Bobby Petrino steps in as interim head coach at Texas A&M.
Oh, my God.
I think that is the greatest possible scenario football fans can hope for the fall season. And by golly, I hope it happens.
I didn't even think about that.
That would be phenomenal.
That
would be the greatest turn of events.
Wow.
That would be great. That's what I'm hoping for now. So let's all root against A&M early in the season so that Jimbo gets fired, and then let's all laugh and point as that program is led by Bobby Petrino.
That'd be hilarious.
Love it.
It really would be. David Cobb's big, bold prediction for the it's only called bold prediction. I don't know why I put big in front of it. His bold
predictions.
Big, bold prediction for the SEC. Alabama will lose 2 regular season games for the second season in a row. As a result, will miss the SEC championship game and college football playoff once again. I think we need to shoot a little higher for our big, bad, bold predictions, David.
Now it's big and bad.
I mean, it's supposed to be, isn't it?
Big, bulging, bad predictions.
It's the big, bad SEC. I mean,
I think it's the big, bad Big Ten. No, because you can't say big twice.
No.
So it's just the Big Ten. But they own big, is my point. Right. Nothing else can be big. They own it, except the 12.
So it's the bad SEC, but bad in a good way, like how the cool kids
Who owns
say bad.
Big? Because there's the Big Ten and the Big 12.
The Big Ten definitely owns big.
So Big 12 should change their name.
I mean,
what would be their name? I got a name for the Big 12.
The 12.
The Pac-12. No, that's Pacific, so you can't do that. No, you could.
The 12, like the Ohio State University.
Like the vitamin.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, the 12.
Yeah,
I thought you said B12.
No. The 12. I guess you could. Yeah, it could be the joke. It'd be 12.
B12. Well, it used to be the big, but no, it used to be the BI0.
Big 10 is turned into Big 10 is now
BI0. No, B10. No, it's just the BI0.
Yeah.
Or B1G.
But it looks like B10 and BIG. It looks you could either way. It looks like both.
BIG.
Yeah. Yeah.
Biggie.
So, but yeah, I think he needs to go a little bigger and badder. I'll tell him that on Monday.
All right.
Make
sure you write down to it. Make sure you criticize David for the job he's doing professionally.
David,
it's not good enough for me. And make sure you sign your name on that paper too. That way it's incriminating.
Big and bad enough.
Be badder.
Bold prediction.
Bald?
Bold.
Yeah.
Prediction.
No, mine would be bald prediction.
You can make that. I mean, that could be a segment.
I'm going to trademark that. That's a good idea.
All right,
Bald
sign my name.
predictions. They're not big or bold, but they're bald.
They're bald. Big bald predictions.
No, just what? Did you not hear the tagline? They're not big bald predictions. They're not big or bold. They're just bald.
I didn't know that was your tagline. I just thought you were saying it. So his SEC East, Georgia, Tennessee, Kentucky, South Carolina, Florida, Missouri, and Vanderbilt. His SEC West, LSU, Alabama, A&M, Ole Miss, Arkansas, Mississippi State, and Auburn. Interesting.
Auburn last?
Auburn last.
You know why?
Because they're not playing Robbie Ashford.
Bob Ashford.
Bob Ashford. Yeah.
Bobby Ash.
They're not playing him.
That's right.
And so that's why they're last.
Correct.
That would be wild if Auburn was last in the
I'd love to
in the
point
SEC
laugh at
West.
him,
That'd be
too.
wild. That'd be crazy because I've heard so many people.
And then you know who's going to be the interim coach at Auburn when they fire him after he's bad this year?
They're not going to fire him after one season.
But you know who's
okay,
gonna
I'll
be
play
their head
along.
coach?
Who's their head coach?
Bobby Petrino.
And why is that?
I don't know. Maybe Cadillac again.
It probably would be Cadillac.
Is Cadillac
again.
on the staff? I can't remember. I thought he was.
They kept him around. No, but I mean, I've seen a lot of people say that Auburn's going to be, they're going to come in and they're just going to, rejuvenate this program and they're going to be good this year.
Well, it's hard to be worse than Brian Harsin. That guy is an idiot.
Well, and they also have their non-conference schedule is also most non-conference schedules in the SEC are pretty plush. But Auburn, UMass at home, at Cal,
like a teddy bear,
in Samford is their
Whoa,
third.
relax on Samford.
You a big Samford guy?
They're good.
Yeah, but not. I mean, they're not SEC
Not for the
good.
SEC.
Yeah, I mean they should win that game by 2 touchdowns
Former
at least.
Pittsburgh Steeler Duck Hodges went to
Hodges
Samford.
was
I watched him
quarterback
play in college. He was slinging that thing. Man.
You watched him
and the
in
quarterback
person?
they have now is like the #1 quarterback in FCS.
Yeah, he is. He's on the Manning Award watch list.
He's slinging,
good.
man. He's good.
He's really good.
They always have gunslingers, and they spread it out. They'll throw it.
A guy,
my buddy of mine played at Wofford, who's in their league, and so I would go watch
yeah.
them play, and he'd rush the end on old Duck Hodges.
Really?
Sure
Did he get him a few times?
No, he had some rushes, but he did. I don't think he had a sack that day.
That's too bad.
He had some hurries, I should say, not rushes.
Yeah. There was a guy that played at Houston when I was there. He was I think he freshman or sophomore when I graduated, but he's now at Samford. A wide receiver.
Go Dogs.
So go Dogs. I'll be pulling for
nice stadium
Samford.
too.
Is it really? I don't know anything about their football program.
Right next to the baseball stadium.
Really? Mm-hmm. Really? Interesting. So yeah, but then Auburn has after those 3 pretty easy non-conference games at Texas A&M, home versus Georgia, off week at LSU, home against Ole Miss, home against Mississippi State, at Vandy, at Arkansas, New Mexico State. And then Alabama. So I mean, their conference slate is not ideal, I would say. So maybe he's right.
That's just how the cookie crumbles sometimes in the SEC.
It really
too.
is. It really is.
Is you have a tough schedule year. Like I think of, this is always the one I bring up. I apologize because I know we have a lot of Ole Miss fans that like the station, but it's just the one I bring up. Ole Miss kind of got fat last year due to their schedule, and it kind of tailored off as the schedule got tougher down the stretch of the year.
Late in the season, lost 5 in a row.
And this year, I think the Ole Miss schedule is a little bit tougher than it was last year. Maybe I'm wrong about that.
No, I mean Mercer at Tulane's not going to be easy. I mean that's not going to be an easy conference game or non-conference game, especially when you're going there. Georgia Tech, then at Alabama, home against LSU, home against Arkansas before you get an off week. Then you have to go to Auburn, home against Vandy, home against Texas A&M, at Georgia.
Oh, that's really not as bad as I thought it was, though.
No,
honestly.
but I mean, having to go to Georgia, to Alabama, and then having LSU right after Alabama, and then having Arkansas, which Ole Miss is always a great game. Having Arkansas right behind at Alabama and home against LSU is pretty tough.
Yeah, it's a tough stretch right there. You're right about that.
Yeah, that's
so
tough.
Schedule can make or break your season in a lot of ways. You can lose before you start even. I know obviously the program's not going to take that approach, but we can take that approach in the media, I guess.
Yeah. No, but I mean you're right. That's just kind of how it works out sometimes. Well, since you're talking about Texas A&M and them being bad this year,
I don't know if they're going to be bad. I just think it would be funny if they were.
At Miami, week 2.
Yeah, that was a terrible game last year.
I don't
it was
even
kinda
remember it last year.
It was awful. It was the same night as a Canelo fight, maybe, and I watched it at the Malco Theater because I paid a ticket to go watch the Canelo fight
So
on the
you've
big
done that
screen.
before. You've gone to like Malco to watch
A fight?
fights.
Oh yeah.
What's it like?
Well, I mean, at the one in Collierville, it's not always super packed, especially the time of year that this stuff is on the fall. There's no blockbuster movies coming out in the fall. It's kind of a lull period between Christmas and the summertime blockbusters. And one thing about the Collierville movie theater, at least, and they all have it nowadays too, but really Collierville and Paradiso are the ones that really have it. So they got that little bar restaurant in there, so you can, and they have cable TV in there too. So they got ESPN.
So many TVs
they got like 4 TVs. The one in Collierville, so you got ESPN on one, the Deuce on the other. Then like FS1 or something like that.
Well, I guess in the fall it would not have MLB Network.
And so you got all the games going on in there, and then I got the fight on in there. Now you also have games on your phone you can pull up all the time. So I'm going back and forth between getting. And it's not like you have to sit in the theater. You can't get up and go anywhere.
Right.
There's undercard fights going on. You don't necessarily care a whole lot
that's
about.
Fascinating.
Great experience. Highly recommend it, especially if you want to watch both things going on. They've got more TVs than you probably have.
So how? Because I saw they did one for the.
And they got pretty good food at the Collierville Theater too. We got a little pizza, and then you got beer
once there.
Beer and vodka and whiskey and wine if you're a lady or something like that.
Obviously, boxing's a little different, but I know they for a couple of UFC.
Some big
cards,
UFCs they do, but UFC is so readily and easily available now with ESPN Plus.
True.
I really just go there if there's a big boxing.
Interesting. Because I've seen it before. Like I'll be on like the Flickster app. Is that what it's called? Where you can
Fandango. You're
Fandango, yeah. And like it'll say like what's in theaters this weekend, and it'll have like this boxing match or UFC card, and I'm like, I wonder how many people like go and do that. I've thought about doing it a couple of times, but
I think
I've never met anybody that's done it.
The last Canelo fight I went to, I'm pretty sure it was Canelo. It might not have been. It might have been a Terrence Crawford fight. Did he fight last fall? I think Canelo fought last fall.
I remember Canelo fighing somewhat recently.
I'm pretty sure it was Canelo last fall, and it was the same day as the Miami A&M game. That's how we got on this. I need to get back on that. Don't let me forget that.
I will.
But I do think.
I was just fascinated.
No, I do think people would enjoy doing this, and it's something that people might not know about.
Is it like the same amount of money as like a regular movie ticket?
Yeah, which is way cheaper than it costs to order the fight. It's like
so
that's the only time also
like
that you're getting good bang for your buck, and you're spending a lot more time in the theater than you would if you were going to see a movie anyway, and you're not stuck having to. What did I miss? You can go back and forth to the bar and back.
Are people loud in there? Like are people like cheering on the fights and like
when whatever fight it was, someone got hit and there was an audible gasp in the theater. Everyone was like, "Whoa!" You know what I mean? That kind of thing. So. For sure, people get into it in that way.
Texas A&M, Miami.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about this company called Fathom Events that brings like old movies and stuff, but maybe at another time we'll talk about that. Whatever, because I think that's the same company that brings fights and stuff.
Oh, really?
There.
Interesting.
Maybe not. Maybe they just buy them. It's a great idea. Keep doing it.
Yeah, it really is.
But that Texas A&M Miami game I watched while watching that fight I remember watching it at the theater.
So did you have it on your phone, or did you go in the little bar area?
Both. And I'm watching it, and because I had the Miami win total last year, and I'm betting on Miami every week, and this is before we lost money on the MTSU game. I could not believe they lost that game.
That's
my
crazy.
God, I can't even bring that up again. I forgot I was betting on these games. Oh my God, that was a terrible time in my life. They're playing A&M, and Miami cannot move the ball at all on offense. And remember, A&M's offense was also constipated last year. They didn't know who they were playing at quarterback. So they can't move the ball. Miami sure as hell can't move the ball because A&M's defense is too good. So finally, A&M would just go like slowly, and the game was close. So like Miami's like feeling like they're close. Sure. And Miami's Twitter's like, we're in this game. We just need one drive. And they never but it was never going to happen. Like the game was never close. Miami could never move the ball. And it was only because of A&M's own ineptitudes, because it's not like Miami's defense was very good either. Yeah. So whenever A&M put it together, they rolled, and that's why they won the game. So the game wasn't close at all. And even though it's in Miami this year, I guess you can lose games on the road that are crazy like that. But everyone expects A&M to be a lot better. I really don't know what to expect from Miami.
Wow.
There's some hope that the offense can be better this year. They got a new coordinator coming in there.
Tyler Van Dyke's back.
We've seen Tyler Van Dyke throw well, even though he didn't throw all that well at times last year. I I just don't know if Mario Cristobal is willing to give over the reins for offense because Mario Cristobal is the only guy that could ever hold back Justin Herbert. So he just loves to run the football too much. He's just an old school guy. That's the way he plays football. And I'm not sure college players are good enough anymore to play that style of football. And that certainly doesn't have the personnel to do it in week 2. Even the good recruits he has aren't old enough at this point to play. So, I think it still remains to be seen. I don't expect them to beat A&M. But that would be great if they did, though, wouldn't it?
It sure would be. It would help your potential idea of chaos at Texas A&M. So that would be good for you. Let's go ahead and get to our final break of the day. When we come back, we'll wrap up today's show with Taco Bell Crunch Time.
We are real sports talk. Sports 56 WHBQ. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM and 98.5 FM, as well as around the world online at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, just say, Alexa, play Sports 56. Wherever you are, stay tuned in to Real Sports Talk. Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Homer Skelton Hyundai Genesis in Olive Branch has an offer you can't refuse. They will pay you to do business with them if you want luxury. And I'm talking the Genesis G70 car. If you would love to have that kind of new technology, they will give you a $1,000 rebate when you finance with Genesis Motor Finance. In other words, they'll pay you $1,000 to do business with them, and you get brand new luxury. You can't beat it. That's Homer Skelton Hyundai Genesis, right at the corner of Craft Road and Highway 78 in Olive Branch. Homer Skelton Hyundai Genesis in Olive Branch, where customer retention is amazing. There's a reason. They take care of you with a team that's been together for a long time. Whether it's finance or whether it's service, you can't beat them. Homer Skelton Hyundai Genesis.
Hi, everyone. Greg Gaston for FanDuel. Add a little excitement to your sports watching experience by betting on all the action on FanDuel Sportsbook. There's a reason why FanDuel is America's #1 sportsbook. Their app is simple to use. They've got great odds on all different betting markets, unique fun bet types like same-game parlay, and exclusive always-on promotions such as enhanced odds boosts on the biggest events to let you get more action out of every game day. And if you win, they even get you your winnings safely in as little as 24 hours. If you've never tried FanDuel Sportsbook, what are you waiting for? Just go to FanDuel.com, use Gas Manager promo code to get in on the action. All in an app that's safe, secure, and super easy to use. Just go to FanDuel.com, again, use Gas Manager promo code to join now or sign into your FanDuel Sportsbook account. Must be 21 or over, present in Tennessee. First online real money wager only. $10 deposit is required. Refund issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire in 14 days. Restrictions apply. See full terms at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call Tennessee Redline at 1-800-889-9789.
WeatherGuard, the name that stands for unmatched security in truck boxes, is now making a name for itself on the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series circuit. WeatherGuard is the official sponsor of the safety and security work crews at Speedway Motorsports tracks across the country. Engineered to meet the demands from job sites to race sites, WeatherGuard truck boxes feature double welded seams, weather-tight seals, and high security latches and locks. If it's a job worth doing, it's a job worth WeatherGuard. Learn more at weatherguard.com/truck.
What's holding you back from learning the language you've always wanted to know?
Too hard. Takes too long.
Not with Babbel. Babbel's lessons take just 15 minutes a day.
15 minutes isn't long.
Nope. And they're fun. So you don't realize you're learning a language, but you are. In 3 weeks, you're able to start having conversations. And Babbel's lessons are built around real life.
And with Babbel, it isn't hard. It's perfect.
Now try Babbel free. Just go to Babbel.com. That's BABBEL.com.
Nestled in the heart of East Memphis, located corner of Park and Cherry, is a beautiful residential neighborhood. I'm here at Town Village Audubon Park interviewing a new resident, Carolyn. Share with us why you chose Town Village.
Well, if your parents or special friends need to make that big move, let me share with you my experience. It was tough for me to leave home, but then I discovered Town Village. I would like to highly recommend Town Village to you and your loved ones. After looking at all the amenities and meeting all the people and staff, I was hooked. From restaurant, bistro, 3 meals per day, housekeeping, transportation, security, health care, physical therapy, exercise room, and even a heated pool and spa. Come see us and make your new home at Town Village.
Visit us and call Daniel at Town Village Audubon Park at 901-374-7342. There's no place like home, Town Village.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Jean Company in Collierville. Once again, here are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
If I go crazy, then will you still call me Superman? If I'm alive and well, will you be there holding my hand? I'll keep you by my side with my superhuman might, kryptonite.
3 doors down.
Go crazy, folks! Go crazy!
This is for all the biggest crunch time.
You are looking live. In your life have you seen anything like that? Goodbye! Hello, Haskins.
It's obviously crunch time.
Hammer, nail, coffin, this baby is over.
The double steak grilled cheese burrito, so good. Double the steak with nacho cheese sauce, seasoned rice, red strips, sour cream, and the 3-cheese blend wrapped inside a warm flour tortilla, with even more 3-cheese blend grilled on the top. The double steak grilled cheese burrito, it hits the spot now at Taco Bell. And at Taco Bell, when they say they are feeding people's lives with unexpected good, they mean it. Bowl food you can't get anywhere else.
Well, what I learned today is that Padres reliever Robert Suarez was ejected versus the Marlins this afternoon after a sticky substance check. They said multiple umpires appeared to check the back of Suarez's glove and left hand before ejecting him from the game. I feel like we haven't seen a sticky substance in a while.
There's no way anyone is stupid enough to actually use one. It's just umpires. There's some umpires. I read a story about this recently too, and the story might have been full of crap. It could have been biased. I don't know. I don't even remember what publication it was from, so that's how much credibility it gives it. But I've read recently that it's the same umpiring crews that are the ones that are doing this, and it's absolute crap.
There's only been 6 since they started in 2021.
Exactly. They're just picking and choosing when they do it. It's completely arbitrary, and it's total crap. It's based on something else they're upset about every single time.
Yikes.
Ridiculous.
What you learned today?
I learned today that Shohei Ohtani hit his 44th home run in the afternoon game and exited the game, unfortunately, so hopefully a quick recovery for him.
Yeah, it sounds like arm fatigue maybe for Shohei in the second inning. That wasn't funny. What I could have done with that was really this Trey Lance situation with the 49ers. We've talked a lot about the lack of reps he's gotten, but just kind of sad being such a high first-round pick, now number 3 on the depth chart over in San Francisco.
Bryant, what I could have done without today is nothing. You know, I had a great day. I don't want to remove any part of my day. I can't even pick anything. Wow. It was such a good day. I got nothing to remove.
I love it.
Where are you beaming?
Me first? I'll beam to downtown Memphis. Memphis not going to want to see back in action tonight against the boys from Indy.
That's so disingenuous, though. You're not even going to the game. You're saying you're going to beam there. You're not going.
I can't. I wish I could, but I can't.
Why?
Because I have something to do.
Oh, you got plans, do you?
And I didn't know they were playing until this morning, and I was really excited, and then I was like, wait, I can't go.
Wow.
I wish I could go. I really want to go to a Memphis now. I watch like all of them because they're all on ESPN Plus. They look so fun.
I'm beaming to wherever they're doing AEW Dynamite tonight, 7 o'clock on TBS. It'll be a great event.
I like it. We had a lot of day baseball games, but a handful of games later tonight. Nationals and Yankees. We'll see if the Yankees can avoid losing double-digit games in a row, as if they lose tonight, it'll be 10 in a row going up against Mackenzie Gore and the Nationals. But that's all the time we have today. Enjoy your night. We'll talk to you again tomorrow afternoon.